Chapter 378. Forge a great enemy. The feeling of Shen Mufeng's sharp claws penetrating her shoulders wasn't pleasant, but Lu Muyan deliberately lured him into the trap. Just when Shen Mufeng had a bad premonition and mobilized the elemental energy of his entire body to kill Lu Muyan, she burst. The mini Qilin beast and the four symbols divine beasts carrying a cyan black flame rushed towards Shen Mufeng. More than a dozen slender golden needles slipped out from Lu Muyan's body and stabbed towards Shen Mufeng, cooperating with the array. Shen Mufeng's scarlet eyes were filled with cruelty. One hand reached back from Lu Muyan's shoulder, then clawed towards her heart. The other hand brandished his long sword, brewing layers upon layers of a sword or a storm, crushing the four symbols divine beasts' flaming bodies. Just when he was distracted, Lu Muyan endured the pain in her shoulder, and her mental energy formed two hurricanes that shot directly into Shen Mufeng's eyes. Shen Mufeng wasn't at all prepared that Lu Muyan would use her mental energy to attack his eyes. Under the destruction of the mental energy hurricane, his sea of consciousness was an entire mess, and his head was in so much pain it felt as if it would explode. Ah! He held his head with both hands and screamed. Under the control of Lu Muyan's mind, the more than a dozen golden needles bounded back by the sword aura spun in midair, stabilized themselves, then stabbed towards Shen Mufeng. The mini Qilin condensed from the netherworld flame raised its head and roared, entering Shen Mufeng's back. After the mental energy hurricane dissipated, Shen Mufeng regained his clarity, but it was already too late. In a battle between the strong, even if it was just a short distraction, it would change the situation of the battle. His internal organs were burned together by the mini Qilin. The horns on his head and the black scales on his body gradually dissipated, and the demonization was lifted. He roared unwillingly. He wanted to use another trump card but found that he could no longer move. His eyes widened and he looked at Lu Muyan in horror, but he couldn't utter a word. Lu Muyan smiled while covering her stabbed shoulder. My golden needles are dipped in a vicious poison that can paralyze people's bodies. You will definitely die today. The scarlet in Shen Mufeng's eyes were darker, not caused by the demonization, but instead by anger. Only now did he realize that when he fought against this woman just now, he fell into the trap she designed step by step. Although she was an opponent, but he couldn't help but admire her temperament and wit, being ruthless to others, but even more ruthless to herself. After battling dozens of rounds, Lu Muyan would have been injured by him through shockwaves, and she even withstood the danger of being stabbed through the shoulder by him, to the point that she even risked the danger of severely injuring her internal organs to lure him in, only for this fatal blow. And she was very successful in luring him into this trap. He didn't expect her to attack his only weakness after demonized. His consciousness began to fade, but there was still a question lingering in his heart. Did she just accidentally attack his eyes? Or did she already know the weakness of the devil race after demonization? Why did you attack my eyes? Before dying, Shen Mufeng mouthed his doubts. Lu Muyan smiled, lowered her head beside his ear, and said with a sharpness in her eyes, "Because I hate when people look at me with scarlet, bloody eyes. I can't help but want to destroy them. So in the future when battling, don't use those eyes to look at others. Shen Mufeng, you should actually thank me. I taught you a deep lesson today." She wouldn't explain too much, otherwise Shen Mufeng would definitely suspect that she knew the weakness of the devil race after demonization. To only say enough. That way, it would make him feel that her attack was an accident. She naturally wouldn't admit that she knew the weakness of the devil race after demonization. Otherwise it would be huge trouble. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. The corner of Shen Mufeng's lips twitched. Because of the color of his eyes, she used herself to lure him into the trap to kill. This woman was a lunatic. But he was also completely relieved. So it turned out she didn't know his weakness after demonization. Thinking about it, that was only of course. He was completely scaring himself earlier, let alone a human sword master of the lower interface. Even those powerful almighties in Guangling world didn't know the hidden weaknesses of their devil race after demonization. He closed his eyes, his aura gradually disappearing, and he used the last of the elemental energy accumulated in his dantian to send out a mental energy sonic wave resounding throughout the cave. Lu Muyan, right? This eminence has remembered you. When you ascend to Guangling World in the future, this eminence will repay you for killing my body and snatching the treasure." When Shen Mufeng's aura disappeared completely, in a palace in the devil realm of Guangling World, a man who looked exactly like Shen Mufeng, but with a completely different aura, suddenly opened his eyes. At this moment, there was a scarlet color in his eyes, and a cruel arc rose on his lips as he thought, "Lu Muyen, you don't like scarlet eyes, huh? Then in the future, this eminence will definitely imprison you and let you have a nice taste of how it feels to be burnt by scorching flames, staring at this eminence's scarlet eyes every day." Lu Muyen burnt his internal organs with the netherworld flame, infected him with poison needles, and destroyed his sea of consciousness with her mental energy storm. Most importantly, it destroyed his plan of hiding in that little interface and missed out on the obsidian fluorite, even if it was just an avatar projection. But as the genius holy son of the devil race, when had he suffered such humiliation? "Lu Muyen, you must live well and ascend to Guangling World. This eminence is waiting for you." The anger in his chest had nowhere to vent, and he finally raised his head and roared a few times. All the furnishings in the entire palace room were shattered into powder, and in his roar he just repeated one name, Lu Muyen. After Shen Mufeng died, Lu Muyen's secret skill also faded. She sat meekly on the ground, gasping for breath. Her entire body was weak, and Mo Yan's figure fell to the ground. "Mo Yan, it seems that I forged a great enemy before I even ascended to Guangling World." Lu Muyen smiled helplessly. From the mental energy sonic waves condensed by Shen Mufeng just now, she heard infinite resentment. That man would definitely not let this go easily. Mo Yan looked at her collapsed on the ground, injured, with a hint of heartache in his eyes, and said with a light gaze, "You could have chosen to challenge Lan Si earlier." Lan Si, who was fighting with Ming Xiu, glanced at Lu Muyen strangely when he heard those words. He wondered if it was because she was reluctant to kill him, but he was destined to be disappointed because Lu Muyen's reply almost made him vomit blood. No other way. Shen Mufeng represents 100,000 contribution points from the sect. What's the benefit of killing Lan Si? Lu Muyen rolled her eyes at Lan Si. She took the initiative to challenge Shen Mufeng, first, in order to help Ming Xiu share some pressure, and second, she targeted the 100,000 contribution points from the sect. Such a big pie fell from the sky. Even if she had to bear the consequences of being wanted by Shen Mufeng in the future, she must still take it. Lan Si was completely speechless. So it turned out that his life was just worthless in the eyes of this woman. This woman sure was still the same as she used to be. To actually make such a ruthless move simply for some contribution points. But the more ruthless she was, the more cunning she was, the more he liked her. This woman, he must obtain her. Ming Xiu's heart chilled when he saw that Lan Si's eyes revealed a stubborn madness for Lu Muyen. He unsealed a layer of his seals in his body, and elemental energy instantly gushed out. Maiwata Chapter 379. Heartache and helplessness at this time. Ming Xiu's entire figure was as if it were plated with a layer of golden light. A boundless elemental energy rushed towards his dantian, and his entire person exuded a momentum even stronger than Lan Si, who was at Sword Saint Cultivation Base. Lan Si came to his senses only to see Ming Xiu filled with killing intent. His eyes were filled with incredulity. Just who was this man, and how could he have sealed such a powerful force in him? Such power wasn't something that this interface could possess at all. Could this man also come from Guangling World? But Lan Si could conclude that Ming Xiu was different to him, and Shen Mufeng. They were avatar projections, while Ming Xiu was definitely his original body. But if the original body descended to this interface, then it would inevitably be repelled by the power of the laws of this interface. Just what was his identity? A golden sword light swept across, and Lan Si's eyes narrowed. He struck with his palm towards the sword light, and clusters of blue flames emerged from his body to form a shield. The sword aura swept across the shield, and the shield formed by the spirit flame was torn in half, but also offset 90% of the sword aura energy. The rest of the sword aura was barely withstood by Lan Si, but he felt his blood was surging inside. Just who are you? He looked at Ming Xiu with a grim expression. Ming Xiu's eyes were filled with coldness. You talk too much. Then he immediately poured all his elemental energy into the giant golden sword in his hand, ready for the second strike. Lan Si's heart was grim. He glanced at the obsidian fluorite, gritted his teeth, and made a decision. He took out a talisman and activated it. A huge blue water curtain suddenly appeared in front of him, and he walked in without hesitation. With the power of his avatar projection being suppressed by this interface, he wasn't Mingxiu's opponent, who had unlocked a seal and gained a vast amount of power. He could only leave first and slowly plan out how he could obtain the obsidian fluorite. A huge sword energy erupted from Mingxiu, and he was like a killing deity. The huge golden sword slashed through the water curtain, and instantly severely injured Lan Si, who had already entered it. Piu! A mouthful of blood spurted out from the water curtain, and Lan Si turned his head to look at Mingxiu fiercely. The death of this sword will be avenged by this king in the future. Mingxiu smiled uncaring. His thin lips opened slightly, and he mouthed to Lan Si. To covet this monarch's woman, you're still a little tender. This monarch is waiting for you to take revenge anytime. Lan Si's pupils constricted slightly, then as the entire water curtain faded, he also disappeared from this space. After Lan Si was teleported away by the power of that talisman, Mingxiu immediately walked towards Lu Muyan and squatted down. He pressed his lips tightly with a worried and unhappy expression, quickly took out some liquid medicine, and poured it on Lu Muyan's shoulder, then took out a grade 4 force nourishing pill for her to take. Seeing Mingxiu's cold expression, Lu Muyan could also guess why he was angry. She tugged his sleeve with a pitiful little look. My shoulder hurts so much. Seeing her pale face, and that rare look of weakness, her beautiful eyes watery, looking at Mingxiu with a coquettish appearance, all his anger disappeared immediately. Aside from heartache, there was only pampering. You're such a bold and reckless woman. Mingxiu carefully hugged her in his arms with heartache, and placed his large hands on her back, continuously channeling true elemental aura. Lu Muyan pouted and said, No, I'm not. You're not. Mingxiu tapped the tip of her nose with his finger, with helpless pampering in his deep eyes. Just tell me what you want to exchange your contribution points for, and I'll find a way to help you get it. Why risk your life to kill Shen Mufeng? Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, what you get from me isn't the same feeling of achievement as what I obtain myself. Lu Muyan blinked and said. Mingxiu was the hall master of the 9 Layers Hall, and there was the entire Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance behind him. It was true that rarely was there anything he couldn't find. But she didn't lie either. The 100,000 contribution points she got from killing Shen Mufeng, and the things Mingxiu helped her find were just two completely different things. She didn't want to rely on him too much. She needed independent space to grow. She would use him as her support, but it wouldn't be her all. Mingxiu sighed. He knew Lu Muyan's temper from the moment he fell in love with her. She was tenacious and confident, with her own pride and persistence. Since he liked her, then he would naturally follow her heart, even if he really wanted to simply protect her under his wings, so that she could be carefree. Actually, there's nothing wrong with being a little bit injured. Lu Muyan buried her head against Mingxiu's neck. During the battle with Shen Mufeng, I found that my strength and speed are still far behind him, and there's much to improve. I also feel like I comprehended something. If she hadn't borrowed Mo Yan's power, she wouldn't be able to kill Shen Mufeng at all. Maybe she would even be escaping with a secret skill right now. Although her shoulder was seriously injured, but she gained even more. Not only did she kill Shen Mufeng to exchange for 100,000 sect contribution points, but she also comprehended a slight wind element when she battled with him. Maybe the wind element in her would be activated because of it. But don't force yourself so much in the future. Mingxiu also knew that a battle of life and death was the best way to enhance the potential of a sword master. But seeing her bloody wound, his heart only ached more. Don't worry, I'm not that stupid. If I couldn't beat Shen Mufeng, I would have asked for your help long ago. Lu Muyan raised her beaming eyes, like a sneaky little fox. Mingxiu kissed her forehead and hugged her tighter. In the future, you have to be careful with people from the devil race. Shen Mufeng is one of the most respected holy sons of the Devil Lord in the Devil Realm. You killed him and destroyed his plan to contend for the obsidian fluorite. He wouldn't just let it go easily. He lowered his head, and there was a layer of frost in the bottom of his eyes. Sooner or later, he would find Shen Mufeng to settle the debt of injuring his woman. If it weren't that Lu Muyan didn't let him help, he would have definitely shredded Shen Mufeng's body into thousands of pieces and extracted this split soul. I will. Lu Muyan knew that she had indeed provoked a great existence, but she didn't take it to heart. In her past life, she also provoked numerous powerful existences in the spiritual realm, but in the end, because of their various pursuits and killing attempts, she was motivated to continuously pursue the great path and improve her cultivation base. Recover a little. After channeling in the last true elemental aura into Lu Muyan's body, Ming Xiu let go of her. Lu Muyan nodded with a smile, then began to close her eyes to recover from the injury. She also used the true elemental aura from Ming Xiu to stabilize her peak phase sword sovereign cultivation base. She used the green mist in her dantian, flowing along her meridians, to cover her wound for healing. The green mist's repairing ability was very powerful, and it only took half a day for the wound on her shoulder that went deep into the bones to gradually heal. Of course, the quick recovery of the wound was inseparable from the liquid medicine that Ming Xiu dripped on her shoulder. After she recovered somewhat from her injuries, the moment she opened her eyes, she met Ming Xiu's eyes that were as bright as the brilliant stars in the vast starry sky. Let's take the obsidian fluorite first. Lu Muyan said with a smile. Based on the time, the elders of the 5 major sects may be arriving soon. The speed of a sword saint powerhouse was naturally very different from flying magic tools that they took for missions. The elders who were not far away from here should be able to reach Falling Ghost River in a day. All right. Chapter 380. Frame the love rival. All the obsidian fluorite was born, and a fragrant scent lingered on both their noses. Lu Muyan's several spirit pets also absorbed the power in the ice pool pretty well. That ice blue peony-shaped spar was bright and clean, giving people of a sense of cleanliness and translucence. I didn't expect our luck to be so good. The obsidian fluorite actually gave birth to fluorite essence. Lu Muyan smiled at the several spars in the stamen. Ming Xiu nodded. Yeah, last time we obtained the heavenly frost golden essence together, and this time we discovered the fluorite essence. It shows that our luck's good. Still the old rule, let's half it. Lu Muyan said with a smile. I only need enough fluorite essence to refine a single magic tool. You can take the rest of the obsidian fluorite. Ming Xiu had been searching for a material to refine a water attribute magic tool for a while, and he didn't expect that through this opportunity, he actually obtained it. Do you want the white Jiao dragon corpse and Shen Mufeng's interspatial ring? Lu Muyan asked, scanning the corpse beside him. Don't want, you can put it away. Lu Muyan knew that this guy was rolling in money, so she divided the fluorite essence in half, then put it away together with the spar peony containing obsidian fluorite. Ming Xiu took the fluorite essence and put it away. After thinking about it, he asked, can you also comprehend the water element? I'm going to use this fluorite essence to refine a natal magic tool. Lu Muyan didn't hide it from Ming Xiu. Ming Xiu's eyes revealed slight strangeness. He didn't expect Lu Muyan's talent to be so heaven-defying, but when he remembered his own multiple attributes, he calmed. With this, weren't they a good match? If you use the fluorite essence to refine a natal magic tool, you best sacrifice it together with heavy water, and its power would be even stronger. After Ming Xiu finished speaking, he flipped his hand and there were 2 more colorless and transparent stones in his palm. This is another meteorite. When you refine, you can add some in and it can randomly activate some of the hidden attributes of the magic tool. Then I won't be polite. Lu Muyan knew about the nether meteorite. This thing could be regarded as an earth-rank spiritual item, and was exceptionally rare. As long as she functioned well when refining the natal magic tool, then the magic tool she refined would be even more powerful. By the way, do you know where you can find heavy water on Tianling continent? Lu Muyan asked after a bit. Heavy water was a kind of spiritual item extracted by high-level sword masters who have comprehended the water attribute element to perfection realm. It was best used to refine magic tools. Although Ming Xiu could also perceive the water attribute element, but he had only reached the Great Achievement realm, and couldn't refine heavy water. On this interface, he had also never met a swordmaster who had comprehended the water attribute to the perfection realm. He furrowed his brows, then after a while his eyes lit up and he said, "In your 8 extreme sect, there's a piece of heavy water. After you're promoted to an inner sect pupil, each sect will have an individual spiritual item exchange jade slip issued. I remember heavy water is on it. Then I can use the contribution points from the wanted mission to exchange for it." Lu Muyan smiled happily. She wasn't worried about not being able to be promoted to inner sect pupil. Whether it was her specialization skills or direct battles, she was 100% certain that she would be able to enter the inner sect. The opening of the land of inheritance has been delayed. You can use this interval to improve your strength. It just so happens that the selection competition for inner pupils within each sect is about to start. Ming Xiu said. Lu Muyan nodded. How long until the land of inheritance opens? It will take a year at least. I think it'll be after the sect's grand competition. Ming Xiu believed that Lu Muyan would shine brightly again during the sect's grand competition. Lu Muyan rubbed her chin and asked, "What are the benefits of the sect's grand competition?" She remembered that the 6 major sects held a grand competition among each other every 3 years. They were all competitions between the new pupils of the inner sect. Ao Rong once mentioned that he hoped that she could participate in the array competition then. There are many benefits. If you win the championship of each competition, you will not only obtain rewards from each of the 6 major sects, but the rewards after returning to the sect will also be very grand. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Ming Xiu paused, then emphasized. Most importantly, the top 3 of the sect's grand competition have the opportunity to go to the holy purity pool to cleanse their marrows, shape their bodies and wash their souls. It's several times, or even 10 times better than the effect of pills. You mustn't miss out on it. Alright, since there are so many benefits, I'll naturally strive to participate in it. Lu Muyan's eyebrows curved with her smile. She must go to the place where even Ming Xiu praised. Ming Xiu was touched by her smile, and an arc rose on his lips. The geniuses and elites of the inner sects of each sect all have the ability to skip stage battle, especially when it comes to specialized skills. Each sect is hiding their peerless geniuses, waiting for a time to amaze everyone. You have to pay attention. Isn't it more interesting like this? Lu Muyan's eyes lit up. There was only meaning to participate if there was a challenge. Ming Xiu took her into his arms and inhaled the fragrance of her hair. It will take a while for us to meet again after this time apart. Lu Muyan grunted softly and wrapped her arms around Ming Xiu's waist. The two of them quietly hugged each other just like this, and enjoyed the rare tranquility and warmth. 2 hours later, the two left the cave at the bottom of the river, and when they floated to the deep blue water ring, they looked up and saw the powerhouses of both the devil race and sea race still anxiously trying to dive down. What should we do? Lu Muyan looked at Ming Xiu and asked. Kill them? No need. Leave them to the elders of the 5 major sects to take care of. A cunning look flashed across Ming Xiu's deep eyes. Let's not expose the fact that we obtained the obsidian fluorite. Didn't you also only recover half of your injury on purpose? We can just act a little when the time comes, and we'll be free of suspicion. Lu Muyan was also prepared to resolutely refuse to admit seeing the spiritual item at the bottom of the river. Otherwise, if the powerhouses of the 6 major sects knew that they had the obsidian fluorite in their hands, they would probably use various means to exchange them. But they're still stuck up there. How can we get out? Lu Muyan didn't want to fight with the powerhouses on both sides right now. Ming Xiu hooked the corners of his lips up and said with a smile, "Leave it to me." With a thought, a purple light suddenly burst out from between his brows and immediately turned into a cold, cool, and handsome man in purple. The man exuded a powerful aura that seemed to come from ancient times, and one couldn't see through his cultivation base at all. A dragon race demon cultivator? Lu Muyan looked at the man who suddenly appeared and whispered in a trance. The man stared sharply at Lu Muyan, as if scrutinizing. Then he said telepathically to Ming Xiu, "You have a good eye for choosing a woman. There are a lot of secrets on this woman that even I can't see through. Her talent isn't even outmatched by you, very heaven-defying. My woman is naturally the best. Ming Xiu replied with full confidence and cheeriness. After a while, the purple-clothed man asked Ming Xiu, "Why did you call me out?" Ming Xiu pointed to the top and replied with a smile, "I asked you to come out and lure the people above away." The purple-clothed man furrowed his brows and there was a bit of disgust in his eyes. "You want me to transform into that sea race's sword saint to lure them away?" Ming Xiu, this man, definitely wasn't some nice guy. To get him to transform into Lan Si and run out. Then Shen Mufeng's death and the ownership of the obsidian fluorite could naturally all be pushed onto Lan Si. And Lan Si wasn't dead yet. By the time they discover Shen Mufeng's death, those devil race people definitely wouldn't give up. And it was very possible for them to go to the sea race to assassinate him. At that time, they'd then release the news that the obsidian fluorite was taken by Lan Si, and Ming Xiu and Lu Muyan would find a person to carry the blame. This was the classic pattern of framing the love rival to death. Alrightio. School holidays once again. Look forward to more double updates soon. Might not be regular double updates, but more will definitely come XD. Chapter 381. Find fault. Ming Xiu didn't care about the disgust in the eyes of the purple-clothed man. As long as he could meet his requirements, that was all. Yes, and along the way, you can resolve the sword venerables of the devil race while leave no one from the sea race. Sure is troublesome. The purple-clothed man glanced at Ming Xiu, then transformed into the appearance of Lan Si. Lu Muyan's eyes revealed slight surprise. The purple-clothed man not only transformed into Lan Si's figure, but even also had the same temperament. Lure them all away. Ming Xiu raised an eyebrow and added with a smile. The purple-clothed man looked askance at him, then rushed out from the dark blue water ring. After rushing out of the water ring, the powerhouses of the sea race were overjoyed, while the powerhouses of the devil race looked at him with fear. "Where's our master?" A devil race sword saint asked. Lan Si looked at the several devil race people with a warm smile and said, "Your master has already gone to report to the underworld." "You?" The devil race powerhouses were shocked, then each took out their magic tools to attack. The people of the sea race surrounded Lan Si to counterattack. Lan Si shot out a blue sword light, and all the sword venerables from the devil race were killed by the sword aura. "Let's go." Lan Si turned his head and said to the people of the sea race, "Yes." Then the people of the sea race turned into several streams of light and exited the falling ghost river. The remaining several sword saints of the devil race frantically chased after them. After the two parties left, Lu Muyan and Ming Xiu leapt out of the falling ghost river after half a day. The people in the array all sighed with relief when they saw the two coming out. After all, earlier they saw those people chasing after the sea race while exiting the falling ghost river, and they all thought that Ming Xiu and Lu Muyan might be dead. Not long after the two came out of the water, the elders of the 6 major sects also arrived. The elder of the heavenly secret palace looked at Ming Xiu gently and asked, "Qi Xiu, tell me what happened earlier." Ming Xiu stepped forward, cupped his hands, and reported all the events and change at Falling Ghost River. Then he added, "I went underwater to investigate with junior sister Lu of the 8 Extreme sect, discovered that there was a layer of a water ring formed by deep water pressure under the Falling Ghost River and couldn't go down. The 2 leaders of the devil race and the sea race, however, entered, while the others also couldn't dive further down. Junior sister Lu and I were found by several devil cultivators while we lurked and were attacked and injured. We fled to the upper and lower reaches of the river separately. They didn't chase after us. Only after we felt the powerful auras leave did we dare surface." Ming Xiu's expression was also pale at this time, and he looked as if he had suffered internal injuries, while the red clothes on Lu Muyan's shoulders had deep, dried-up bloodstains. "You're too reckless. Both the devil race and the sea race have sword saint powerhouses here. The both of you truly didn't care about your lives when you went to investigate. Luckily they didn't continue to chase and try to kill." The elder's complexion from the heavenly secret palace changed again and couldn't help but reprimand the two. Qi Xiu was the #1 pupil of their heavenly secret palace, and his status in the sect was even higher than his. If he was lost because of this, he wouldn't be able to be excused easily after returning. Both of them humbly listened to the elder of the heavenly secret palace. Do you know what spiritual item was born underwater? The elder of the sword sect asked. We're unsure, but among the leaders of the devil race and sea race, only the sea race's sword saint left with their people. He must have obtained the spiritual item. Ming Xiu replied. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. He paused, then said. Shen Mufeng, the leader of the devil race, was seriously injured by Lan Si of the sea race, and was later killed by junior sister Lu. Lu Muyan had to exchange Shen Mufeng's body for the sect's contribution points, so he couldn't leave too many flaws. He had to help her fill it up. What? The elders of the several sects were in disbelief when they heard that Lu Muyan had killed Shen Mufeng. The pupils of the several sects looked at Lu Muyan as if they had seen a ghost, and they couldn't believe it at all. The elder of the 8 Extremes sect knew about Lu Muyan. After all, the sect leader and Ao Rong attached great importance to her. Lu girl, is this true? Reporting to elder, he was seriously injured with only his last breath left. I set up a killing array when I was escaping. After he broke in, I used the killing array to kill him. Lu Muyan replied calmly. A sword sovereign cultivation-based pupil can kill a sword saint powerhouse. The elder of the heavenly secret palace furrowed his brows and asked. Most importantly, Shen Mufeng wasn't an ordinary sword saint powerhouse, but was 10th on the most wanted list. Even if he was severely injured, he couldn't be killed by a sword sovereign. With a thought from Lu Muyan, Shen Mufeng's corpse appeared in front of the several elders. When he broke into the array, his internal organs were seriously damaged already. I was also only able to kill him by sneaking up, plus the array. The several elders immediately squatted down to inspect Shen Mufeng's body. Then their expressions changed. Shen Mufeng's internal organs were burned by a spirit flame, and from his aura, it was caused by a sword saint level person. The traces left on his body were indeed injured by an array. The elder of the sword sect said. Did Lu Muyan kill Shen Mufeng alone? The elder of the heavenly secret palace looked at Ming Xiu after a moment of silence and asked. Ming Xiu nodded. Junior sister Lu and I acted separately. When I felt the battle fluctuations and rushed over, junior sister Lu had already killed Shen Mufeng. Demonstrate the array you used to kill Shen Mufeng again. The elder of the vast mountain sect ordered Lu Muyan with a sullen expression. They already knew that Lu Muyan injured the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect, and he didn't believe at all that this little girl could set up such a high-level killing array, so he was finding fault. Lu Muyan chuckled, raised an eyebrow and asked. You are the elder of the vast mountain sect, and I am the pupil of the 8 Extremes sect. What qualifications do you have to order me? Her indifferent attitude and arrogant tone made the pupils present unable to resist sucking in a deep breath. This woman was truly crazy. She dared to talk like this to a sword saint strength elder. You. The elder of the vast mountain sect obviously didn't expect Lu Muyan to dare refute him, and in a fit of anger, the pressure of a sword saint pressed towards Lu Muyan. A junior also dares to be this presumptuous towards this old man. I see you're courting death. Ming Xiu's eyes turned cold. Just as he was about to stand out, he was stopped by a look from Lu Muyan. She took out an array flag, quickly formed hand seals, grabbed a handful of spiritual stones, and absorbed them crazily in her hand. An array constructed of transparent runes immediately protected her. As soon as the pressure from the elder of the vast mountain sect landed on the array, it was automatically absorbed by the array, and only 20% was applied to Lu Muyan, but she still withstood it. Grade 5 defense array. The elder of the heavenly secret palace said in surprise. Old man Dongling, do you think our 8 Extremes sect is that easy to bully? The elder of the 8 Extremes sect snorted coldly, blocking in front of Lu Muyan, and released his own sword saint pressure. He didn't quite believe that Lu Muyan could set up a high-level array, and she even dared to contradict Elder Dongling, so he wanted to see just what foundation she had to be so confident. Now that he saw that she could arrange a grade 5 array, in a moment of excitement, he naturally couldn't watch her being oppressed by an elder of another sect. Chapter 382. No thoughts of changing schools. The elder of the vast mountain sect removed the pressure with an extremely ugly expression. Obviously, he didn't expect Lu Muyen to really be a grade 5 array master. It is rude for the pupil of your 8 extreme sect to not distinguish between respect and humility. There is a saying, respect the old and love the young. You don't even love the young. How can I respect the old? Lu Muyen asked with ridicule. Humph, you sure are eloquent. But I want to see just how long you can be so arrogant. The elder of the vast mountain sect snorted coldly with hidden killing intent in his eyes. He had indeed overstepped in front of the 8 extreme sect elder to order Lu Muyen. However, being contradicted by a junior, and being unable to kill her right on the spot, the anger in his heart kept simmering. There is no need to bother you, old man Donglin, to take care of a pupil of our 8 extreme sect. The elder of the 8 extreme sect appeared slightly cold. The elder of the sword sect thought about it, then persuaded. All right now, Donglin, why are you arguing with a junior? Let's first deal with the important business. The elder of the 8 extreme sect had already regarded Lu Muyen as a treasure right now. And elder Donglin couldn't do anything to her at all. The two sects had held grudges for a long time, and the people of the 8 extreme sect were very protective and defensive of their people. Otherwise Lu Muyen wouldn't dare be so arrogant either. To continue to find faults wasn't a wise move at all, and it could end up in a fight. What's more, such a young grade 5 array master should be raised as a treasure even for their sword sect. Geniuses had their own pride. Lu Muyen's ability to withstand a sword saint's pressure by herself just now proved that she still had some capabilities. From his perspective, being a little arrogant wasn't anything big. The elder of the vast mountain sect suppressed his anger, but the matter of Lu Muyen injuring his pupil and contradicting him would never be let go just like this. He smiled sinisterly inwardly. When the 6 major sects' grand competition arrived, he must let the geniuses of his sect kill her to avoid future trouble. The elder of the heavenly secret palace contemplated, then instructed all the pupils. You can all rest here first, we'll go down for a look. Yes. Then the elders of the 6 major sects jumped into the falling ghost river to investigate. After all, the purpose of their trip was to explore the spiritual item here. A day later, another wave of sword saint powerhouses from the 6 major sects came, and together, they destroyed the water ring and entered the bottom of the river. In the end, of course, there was nothing to be gained, and they could only leave in disappointment. But inwardly, they believed that Lan Si took the spiritual item away and cussed out the sea race inwardly. Lu Muyen and the other pupils of the 8 extreme sect also followed the 2 elders who came to Falling Ghost River, and they left on flying magic tools. On the flying magic tool, Wuxia and the others looked at Lu Muyen with envy. Junior sister Lu, you sure are lucky to meet Shen Mufeng, who was about to die, and kill him. He could be exchanged for 100,000 sect contribution points. Jin Se said with a smile. Lu Muyen replied with a light smile. It's also a coincidence. If it wasn't for Lan Si of the sea race who seriously injured him, it would have been me who died now. That's true. The several people nodded. Junior sister Lu, you've hidden yourself so deeply. You've already advanced to a grade 5 array master at such a young age. This talent can be matched to that genius of the intersex array school. Peng Yang praised. Inwardly, they already believed that Lu Muyen's talent was even stronger than that person, but they couldn't say it aloud. After all, that person was a person in the sect they couldn't afford to offend. Who's that genius? Lu Muyen was unfamiliar with the inner sect. She had only heard that there was a grade 5 array master genius, but she didn't know much. He's a direct disciple of one of the ancestors of the sect. Not only is he a grade 5 array master, but he's also in the top 10 of the intersex strength ranking. Wuxia replied. Jin Se added. Not only does he have heaven-defying talent, but also a very deep background. If you enter the inner sect, junior sister, you definitely shouldn't provoke him. He's very arrogant in the inner sect. Lu Muyen asked the several people, who appeared very afraid of that array genius, curiously. Come and read on our website, Wuxia World site. Thanks, no, he's not arrogant. On the contrary, he's very low profile. Wuxia paused, then said. But no one dares to offend, otherwise they'll definitely end miserably. Lu Muyan's eyes revealed a hint of interest. I sure feel like I want to meet that senior brother more after hearing what you all said. The several people twitched the corners of their lips. Everyone else was hiding from that person, but she actually wanted to meet him. She was truly a lunatic. Along the way, the several people chatted for a while, then they cultivated in their cabins independently. After returning to the sect, Lu Muyan first greeted the several people and headed back to her courtyard for closed-door cultivation. In the cave at the bottom of the river, she broke through to peak phase Sword Sovereign with the energy birthed from that obsidian fluorite. And when she fought with Shen Mufeng, she caught a sense of comprehension of the wind element, so she calmed down and settled to consolidate her cultivation base in an attempt to search for that sliver of comprehension. Time passed little by little, and a month later, Lu Muyan opened her eyes, her beautiful pupils filled with brilliant light. Taking advantage of this period of time, she not only stabilized her cultivation base, but also raised it to its peak state. She could break through to Sword Venerable at any given time with an opportunity. As for the comprehension of the wind element, she also caught on to it a little, and the introduction of it had been completed. Then she took out the crystal core of the Tier 9 White Jiao Dragon, and refined many Grade 5 pills, and improved a bit in her alchemy skills too. A communication talisman floated in from the courtyard. After listening to it, she immediately got up and flew in the direction of where the headmaster was. As soon as Lu Muyan stepped into the courtyard, she saw a beautiful woman leaning lazily on a rocking chair drinking tea. She walked over with a smile on her lips. Pupil pays respects to headmaster. She saluted with a pupil greeting. Hualing Long opened her eyes. Her almond-shaped eyes overflowed with a layer of softness. Little girl, your cultivation speed is so fast. The last time she saw Lu Muyan, this girl's cultivation base was only at middle phase Sword Sovereign. In only a year she actually arrived at peak phase Sword Sovereign. Cultivation speed this fast sure was shocking. Headmaster called me here today isn't just to praise my fast cultivation speed, right? Lu Muyan wasn't restrained in front of Hualing Long either, and went to sit in front of her, pouring herself a cup of tea. Not only was Hualing Long not angry, but her smile grew even deeper. Lu Muyan's temperament was very much to her taste. I heard that you're already a grade 5 array master? Lu Muyan picked up the teacup and took a sip. The fragrance lingered along her lips. Then can I understand it this way? You, as part of the talisman school, is also a grade 5 talisman master? Hualing Long raised an eyebrow slightly with all kinds of charms. About right. Lu Muyan said modestly. When Hualing Long heard her say that, she immediately sat up straight and looked at her with scorching eyes. Are you serious? How dare I deceive headmaster? Lu Muyan blinked and said, your talent is a little too scary. Hualing Long sat up straight and tapped her fingers on the table. The headmaster of the array school has come very often to visit me in the last month. Lu Muyan played with the teacup and looked up at her. She didn't say anything, waiting to hear her next words. They all want you to go to the array school to cultivate. Hualing Long raised her eyes and looked at Lu Muyan playfully. You tell me, should I release you? Lu Muyan chuckled and asked with a sly smile. Then does headmaster want to release me? Of course not. If anyone dares to dig Liaoniang's corner, Liaoniang will beat them to death. Hualing Long said domineeringly and arrogantly. Then doesn't that settle it? Since headmaster already made a decision, then why bother to test me again? Lu Muyan leaned lazily against the back of the chair and continued to say leisurely. I have no thoughts of changing schools. Very good. You really didn't disappoint me. Hualing Long reached out and patted Lu Muyan on the shoulder and said, I believe you won't disappoint me in the competition for the inner sect spots in a month. Lu Muyan put away a bit of her carefreeness and looked straight at her. Is the competition for the inner sect spots ahead of schedule? Chapter 383. Can't be low profile even if desired. The 6 major sects assessment for the promotion of the outer sect pupils to inner sect pupils usually took place in another half a year, but now it was suddenly brought forward, so Lu Muyan was surprised. According to past practice, the competition for the inner sect pupil spots should be in half a year, but because the land of inheritance is about to open, The competition between the 6 major sects will be brought forward, so the assessment time has been changed together. Hualing Long explained. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows slightly and asked, "Does the sect's grand competition have a lot to do with the inner sect exams?" Of course. The spots for each sect in the land of inheritance are all determined by the grand competition. The sects that win the most have the most spots, and the last sect will naturally be allocated the least. Most importantly in this session, who knows how those superior almighties went crazy, but they requested that all the participants of the sect's grand competition must be new inner pupils, so the superiors of the 6 major sects are so anxious to bring it forward. Hualing Long pouted, obviously not showing much respect to those almighties above. But Lu Muyen really liked the temperament of this headmaster, refreshing and domineering, but extremely protective of close ones. When she returned to the sect, she ran to exchange for the 100,000 sect contribution points, but there was an elder who didn't like that, and said she only took advantage of a situation to kill Shen Mufeng, and suggested to exchange for only 50,000 contribution points. Before she even went into a rage, Hualing Long went into a rage, wielding 2 giant axes to beat up the elder in charge of the sect's contribution points exchange hall, and finally took this ordeal to the sect leader. Of course, her 100,000 contribution points were also in her bag without a cent less, and she only needed to be promoted to inner sect pupil to exchange the heavy water. "What does headmaster want me to do?" Lu Muyen asked Hualing Long with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Hualing Long's gorgeous face revealed an arrogance. "I want you to enter the inner sect in a high-profile manner. Your talents in arrays, talismans, alchemy, and smithing can all be revealed. Can you give me a reason?" Lu Muyen knew that Hualing Long wouldn't make such a decision suddenly. "Little girl, sometimes it's a good thing to know how to hide, but it's also necessary to properly reveal your strengths." Hualing Long said earnestly, "With your talent, you will definitely represent the 8 extreme sect to participate in the 6 major sects grand competition. Only if you perform outstandingly in the competition for the inner sect spot, then after you enter the inner sect, would they provide you with the highest quality resources to improve. After all, the sect also wants to get a few more spots to enter the land of inheritance. Headmaster means that if my performance is average, the sect won't spend a lot of resources to train me." Lu Muyen thought about it and asked. She was originally going to enter the inner sect in a low-profile manner, but it seemed that it would be difficult to implement now. The resources that should be spent, they naturally wouldn't be stingy with, but some special resources cannot be enjoyed. Hualing Long said in a whisper. For example, the opportunity to enter the sect's core secret area to comprehend arrays, smithing, alchemy, talisman and such skills would be gone. The sect's core secret area? Lu Muyen thought about it and guessed a bit from it. Yes, each sect has its own secret area, and there is a mysterious tower of enlightenment in the secret area. There are very few pupils who are qualified to enter the Tower of Enlightenment, and right now is an opportunity. Because the 6 major sects grand competition this time is linked to the land of inheritance, so one of the ancestors of the sect decided to open the Tower of Enlightenment to the newly promoted inner sect pupils with great talent. Hualing Long looked at Lu Muyen with a look of trust and said, "I hope you win this rare opportunity." Lu Muyen was silent for a moment, then raised her eyes and said jokingly, "Headmaster, are you leaking secrets?" "Did I say something just now?" Hualing Long blinked and said, "When one is old, their memory isn't that good. I think I don't remember what I just said." Lu Muyen smiled merrily. "Headmaster was discussing the spiritual tea in the cup with me just now. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site." "Thanks, yes. We were discussing spiritual tea." Hualing Long gave Lu Muyen a you-catch-on-well look. The opening of the Tower of Enlightenment was indeed a secret. She didn't know if other headmasters would reveal it or not, but she knew that if she didn't mention it, then this little girl Lu Muyen definitely would hide her strength during the assessment for promotion to the inner sect. "Headmaster, I brewed a few pots of spiritual wine for beauty and refining elemental energy a while ago. I wonder if you're interested?" Lu Muyen accepted Hualing Long's kindness and naturally should repay a little. The contact between one person and another all required mutual support. One would never be recognized if they expected the unilateral efforts of others. Hua Linglong's eyes lit up. Of course I'm interested. Lu Muyen took out a jug of honey spiritual fruit wine and a jug of blood sack wine and placed it on the table, then said with a meaningful smile, I won't disappoint headmaster, and I'll earn face for you when the time comes. One gives me a peach, I repay with a precious jade one. In the past, the talisman school was always the bottom of the sect. Since she couldn't be low profile, then she could only be flamboyant and high profile. Giggle. Hua Linglong picked up a jug of spiritual wine, opened it and smelled it. Little girl sure is likable. Then she opened her beautiful eyes wide and asked tentatively, You just said that you brewed this spiritual wine? I usually also like these things. The spiritual wine brewed by other people is too difficult to swallow, so I can only do it myself. Lu Muyen shrugged. Hua Linglong rolled her eyes and said through gritted teeth, Little girl, you aren't a human at all, simply a monster. These were 2 jugs of grade 5 spiritual wine, which meant that Lu Muyen was actually a grade 5 spiritual wine master. Such talent already made her unable to find any adjectives to express her own feelings. However, she didn't have any jealousy, but instead, she was very excited. The stronger her pupil, the more face she had as the headmaster. Anticipation flashed across her eyes. She sure wanted to see the day when those old things in those schools dropped their jaws in shock. Is there anything else headmaster wants? Lu Muyen was a little frightened by Hua Linglong's scorching gaze. Hua Linglong smiled and waved her hand. Nothing else, go back and prepare first. I'll wait for you to give me face in the inner sex assessment. All right. Then I'll leave first. Lu Muyen saluted and left. Hua Linglong looked at the disappearing back, and the expression on her face subsided a little. She played with the spiritual wine bottle in her hand, and a playful smile rose on her lips. Little girl, don't disappoint me. For many years, she hadn't had the thought of focusing on training any pupil. Lu Muyen gave her that interest, but it all depended on whether the little girl's performance in the intersect promotion assessment was worth her betting on. After returning to her courtyard, Lu Muyen went into seclusion again. From time to time, she would also go out of the courtyard to listen to the lectures from the talisman school, and go to the sect's library to read some books on talismans. A month passed in a hurry and the pupils of the outer sect were all gearing up to do their best. As long as one entered the inner sect, their future achievements would only be evident, and there was even a chance to soar into the sky. Everyone wanted to seize it. Lu Muyen felt the momentum and atmosphere of the pupils from the outer sect of the talisman school, and she also felt a little more anticipation. One might have heard that the kindness of a drop of water will be repaid by a spring which is used more often. First time I've heard this peach one, ha ha. Though after some research, although they have similar meanings, but the peach one apparently originated from an ancient poem about a man and a woman, where the woman offers a peach and the man offers a previous jade, thought to be his jade pendant, but not to repay her kindness, but instead to cherish the affections and be on good terms forever. Chapter 384. Crazy smashing of talismans. The promotion assessment to the inner sect was half a year ahead of schedule, and was also something like a small festival. The outer sect pupils practically all came to watch the assessment competition without any absences. The outer sect pupils of each school could participate in the promotion competition for the inner sect. As long as they met the requirements, they would be selected into the inner sect. Those with outstanding results may even directly become an inner core pupil. The opportunity to soar high into the sky was in front of everyone. It just depended on whether one had the ability to grasp onto it or not. Many pupils were excited to sign up to participate. After all, this was an opportunity. Maybe they could enter after they happened to perform outstandingly. On the day of the inner sect promotion assessment competition, the headmasters of each school personally brought the pupils who would participate in the assessment into the arena of the sect. The sect's arena was generally built for the pupils to practice cultivating martial skills. It was wide and could accommodate tens of thousands of outer sect pupils to watch the assessment competition. When Hua Linglong brought Lu Muyen and the several people to the scene, people from the other courtyards had already arrived. Do you think the talisman school of that tyrant female dragon would be bottom again this time? The headmaster of the alchemist school whispered to the headmaster of the array school. The headmaster of the array school had always wanted to dig Lu Muyan over, but Hualing Long kept slapping his face and kicking him out. He was holding his anger in. Humph, when isn't there talisman school at the bottom? I heard that the tyrant female dragon's talisman school has a grade 5 array master. I wonder if they could save themselves around. The smithing school's headmaster said with a little gloating as he looked at the array school's headmaster. He knew that this old thing had been thinking about Lu Muyan for a long time, but unfortunately, he was driven out by that tyrant female dragon. The headmaster of the array school's expression darkened and complained. Lu Muyan being in the talisman school is a waste. After the inner sex assessment finishes, if Lu Muyan really shows extraordinary talent in arrays, I must go to the sect leader for fair judgment. Hehe, the one who got Lu Muyan to the talisman school was a pupil of your school. The alchemist school's headmaster said, dropping stones onto one who had fallen into a well. When this was mentioned, the array school's headmaster was furious. That pupil named Shui Laner dared to play such a trick. But he didn't deal with her immediately. He would just wait to see what would happen when the two faced each other in this intersect assessment. Shui Laner's array talent was indeed quite good. She was already a grade 3 array master at a very young age, and she was also a key target for training in the outer sect. But if Lu Muyan was confirmed to be a grade 5 array master, she would surely bear the wrath of the array school's headmaster for scheming against Lu Muyan before. You'll know if she's a mule or a horse after taking it out for a walk. Well, find out during the assessment. Maybe you'll also want to go to the tyrant female dragon to dig her corner. The array school's headmaster glanced at the alchemy school's headmaster. He also heard that Lu Muyan could refine grade 3 pills. This old fellow was watching his joke right now, but he would definitely cry in the future. Of course, the premise was that Lu Muyan was as devilishly talented as rumored. Hualing Long arranged the seats of Lu Muyan and the others, then went straight to the headmaster's seats. She glanced at the other headmasters indifferently. You want to see my joke? How's that possible? How could we dare to watch your joke? The headmaster of the alchemy school smiled awkwardly. This tyrant female dragon wasn't only arrogant and tyrannical, but also very powerful. They weren't her opponents in a face-to-face fight. It truly was a waste of such a beautiful face. Hualing Long snorted and was too lazy to care about them. She'd wait to see their jokes later on. When the time arrived, the sect leader stood up and encouraged the pupils below, then announced the start of the competition for the inner pupil spots. The opponents were determined by drawing lots, and any means could be used as long as the opponent's life wasn't in danger. This was also the rules of the 6 major sects grand competition, and the superiors of the sects indirectly encouraged pupils to use more means. Of course, no matter what means one used, one must understand limitations. Otherwise, if the opponent was fatally injured or crippled, then the sect would deal with it according to the sect rules. Ling Fei Yang, Yin Jun, and Emo Ling all participated in the intersect assessment, and they all performed very well with winning streaks. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, the opponents Lu Muyan drew were all from other schools, and she basically defeated them all within 3 moves. The examination competition was held for 3 days in total. The first 2 days weren't very interesting, and only the 3rd day was the crucial competition. Lu Muyan entered the assessment competition on the 3rd day without any suspense. This time, her opponents would become the elite pupils of the outer sects of each school. Seeing Lu Muyan's lazy and inattentive look from the very beginning of the competition, Zichasher said with a smile, "It seems that junior sister doesn't take the assessment competition seriously at all." Lu Muyan folded her arms and replied lightly, "Senior brother is joking. I don't dare not care so much. Your turn now. I'm waiting for good news from junior sister," he said meaningfully when he heard Lu Muyan's name read below. "All right, then just you wait." Lu Muyan stood up and flew down to the battle platform. Zichasher was a person who couldn't be underestimated, and she believed that this man would amaze everyone today. After she arrived on the platform, a burly-looking pupil also jumped onto the stage. He swept Lu Muyan with a bit of disdain in his eyes and said, "You're the Lu Muyan who randomly picked up 100,000 contribution points?" None of your business. Lu Muyen raised an eyebrow, showing absolutely no face to this elite pupil of the smithing school. Truly don't know good from bad. I'll make sure you can't be arrogant in a bit. The burly man snorted. The situation about Lu Muyen meeting Shen Mufeng, who was severely injured and on the verge of death, and killed him by a sneak attack had long spread throughout the sect. Many pupils were secretly jealous, envious, and hateful that she picked up the 100,000 contribution points so easily. At the same time as envious of her luck, many arrogant genius outer sect pupils also looked down on her. And they didn't believe that she was a grade 5 array master at all. If you want to battle, then battle. What's the point of talking nonsense? Lu Muyen said indifferently. When the burly man saw that he was being despised by Lu Muyen, he was furious and immediately took out a Saint Treasure magic tool to attack her. Lu Muyen didn't even bother to draw her sword. She directly took out 2 grade 4 talismans and smashed them towards him. As soon as the talismans landed on the burly man, a roaring fire dragon and an ice dragon emerged from the talismans and rushed towards the man fiercely. In only one round, he was knocked off the battle platform with the power of the talismans, and that taste of ice and fire was enough for him to endure for a long time. Seeing Lu Muyen's simple and crude actions, many of the pupils present twitched the corners of their lips. She won just like this? Could it be any simpler than this? Hua Linglong looked at the ugly expression of the smithing school's headmaster, and couldn't resist laughing and applauding. Lu Muyen was too much to her taste. Was there anything more interesting than using talismans to defeat the geniuses of the other schools? The next rounds were as Hua Linglong expected. The geniuses from each school took turns to go into battle, and no matter whether they acted or didn't act, they were all smashed down the stage by Lu Muyen's talismans. Her actions also successfully attracted the attention of the sect leader and headmasters. The faces of the remaining pupils who hadn't yet competed were also very strange. The pupils present were all envious, jealous, and hateful again. Didn't this woman feel any heartache after smashing so many high-level talismans? Even if she didn't care, they all felt their flesh hurt. That was all money. Hua Linglong, what Lu Muyen smashed out were all grade 4 talismans. You couldn't have given them to her, right? The alchemy school's headmaster saw another one of his school's geniuses smashed down the battle platform by a grade 4 talisman of Lu Muyen's, and couldn't help saying as he looked at Hua Linglong. Chapter 385. Disdain Bang. Hua Linglong suddenly smashed the table in front of her into pieces with her palm, revealing slight violence on her beautiful face. You want to be beaten, right? She raised an eyebrow and watched the headmaster of the alchemy school as she moved her fist. I, Hua Linglong, have always done things fairly and upright. I don't like to use inappropriate means like you damned old things in your schools. The grade 4 talismans are all refined by Lu girl herself. Seeing Hua Linglong want to use her fists again, the alchemy school's headmaster remembered the embarrassing incident of when he was beaten by her and couldn't get out of bed for 3 days last time, and his face darkened instantly. Hua Linglong, we're still in a competition right now. Don't be so arrogant. Laonyang is arrogant. What can you do to me? Hua Linglong narrowed her almond-shaped eyes. Seeing this, the sect leader hurriedly said, Junior sister Hua, don't be agitated. It won't affect your image well if you fight in front of so many pupils. Humph, this time, it'll give the sect leader some face. If any of you dare to continue to slander the pupils of the talisman school, Laonyang definitely won't let it go easily. Hua Linglong huffed coldly and retrieved her fist as she sat back to her place. The other headmasters couldn't stop shuddering. This female tyrant dragon was simply too arrogant. The sect leader could only smile bitterly when he received the looks of grievances from the headmasters of the several other sects. What a joke. He didn't want to go provoke this female tyrant dragon. After Lu Muyen stepped down from the battle stage, she naturally discovered this scene with her mental energy. Her lips rose with interest. So headmaster even had the nickname of female tyrant dragon in the sect. But whoever had the bigger fist had the right to speak. This timeless truth applied everywhere. The next opponent Lu Muyen drew was Shui Laner, who knew if someone deliberately put them together. On the battle platform, Shui Laner could be considered a beauty in the array school, but compared with Lu Muyen, who was peerlessly beautiful that could cause the downfall of a kingdom, Shuelainer lost beneath her. I used to think Shuelainer was also quite pretty before, but why is it that compared to Lu Muyen, she just fell right into the dust? A pupil of the array school sighed. Lu Muyen was not only the kind of beauty with exquisite facial features, but her beauty was the sublimation of her temperament. She was as light as the wind and clouds, like a female celestial above the 9 heavens. From time to time, she revealed a kind of boldness and laziness, but she also made one feel gallant, refreshing, and wild. If the two temperaments were placed on others, one may feel odd, but they were vividly expressed by Lu Muyen. No matter where she went, her unique temperament was very eye-catching and attractive. Of course, this was also under the premise of strength. If Lu Muyen was just a sword master below Sword King, then she might have long become a plaything for other powerhouses. I wonder if senior sister Shui will be able to win Lu Muyen or not. Although another person also agreed that Lu Muyen was more beautiful, but Shuelainer was their array schools after all, so they naturally hoped she could win. Senior sister Shui and Lu Muyen are both at peak phase sword sovereign, but Lu Muyen has grade 4 talismans, so she's more likely to win. Actually, senior sister Shui also has hidden means. In the end, it's uncertain who will win or lose. That's true, senior sister Shui is an elite of our array school. Don't enhance other people's spirit and diminish our prestige. The pupils of the talisman school watched the battle platform with anticipation and cheered for Lu Muyen. For many years, the talisman school had been at the bottom of the inner pupils assessment competition. This time, with Lu Muyen and Ziche Shi strongly entering the final day of the competition, it greatly enhanced their faces, and they hoped they would go even further. Lu Muyen, use whatever means you have. Shuelainer also heard the discussions below. She was originally very confident in her beauty, but she couldn't help but feel jealous in front of Lu Muyen. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, she secretly hated her, and planned to defeat Lu Muyen in this battle. You're worthy of my means? Lu Muyen raised an eyebrow with a bit of disdain in her expression. She rarely showed this sort of expression to anyone, but she really hated Shuelainer, a villain who liked to talk behind her back. She didn't bother using too many tricks on her. Humph, then today I'll let you see if I'm worthy or not. Shuelainer had a hideous look on her face. She quickly took out an array flag and started to set up an array. While setting up the array, she sacrificed 3 defensive type saint tools and a saint treasure to block in front of her, in order to prevent Lu Muyen from smashing her grade 4 talismans. Lu Muyen chuckled. You don't need to guard against me with such big fanfare. I'll use talismans to smash others, but I think it's too wasteful to use them to smash you. You push people too much. Shuelainer looked at Lu Muyen grimly, her eyes filled with killing intent. I'll use your own words against you. Use whatever means you have. Lu Muyen didn't want to waste too much time with Shuelainer. The conversations and actions of the two were always dominated by Lu Muyen, while Shuelainer was passive, making many pupils feel that Lu Muyen was too arrogant. Who knew how long her arrogance would last? After all, since Shuelainer was raised with importance in the outer sect, she naturally had her own strength, and definitely wouldn't be weak. Shuelainer kept forming the array, while Lu Muyen folded her arms indifferently and watched. Seeing Lu Muyen's calmness and composure, even the several headmasters felt that she was being careless. Shuelainer's array was quickly constructed, and the entire battle platform was suddenly attacked by cold air. 4 giant pythons composed of ice elemental energy emerged from the 4 directions, roaring and flying into the sky. Grade 3 highest level killing array. Shuelainer can actually set up such a high-level killing array. Her talent is amazing. A pupil couldn't help but exclaim. The other pupils of the array school didn't expect Shuelainer to have hidden her strength. With her talent, there was basically no suspense in becoming a grade 4 array master. This killing array can even kill an advanced phase sword venerable. Lu Muyen's in danger. I heard that Lu Muyen is already a grade 5 array master. It's not certain who wins or loses. Can't you see how calm she is? Grade 5 array master? You believe in such a rumor? An elite of the array school said. The genius senior brother in the inner sect is only a grade 5 array master. Lu Muyen's a liar. I also don't believe it. I'm guessing that her array talent isn't even as stronger as senior sister Shui. I wonder what she's so arrogant about. How embarrassing it'd be to be defeated in a bit. Just watch. I'm also more willing to believe that senior sister Shui can win. For ice pythons roared and fell straight atop Lu Muyan's head. They opened their mouth and spewed out a cold mist. The cold mist also contained countless icicles, and as long as one was struck, they would instantly become a sieve. Lu Muyan smiled playfully, stretched out a hand and pointed it at the sky. A huge flame appeared out of thin air, and instantly swallowed the 4 mighty ice pythons. She then took out a jade stone and tossed it casually. The jade stone formed an arc and fell on a corner of Shui Laner's array. Break. As soon as her voice fell, one watched as the originally intimidating grade 3 killing array instantly fell apart. Pew! As soon as the array broke, Shui Laner couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. She looked up at Lu Muyan in horror and unwillingness. She couldn't accept that Lu Muyan broke her array in just one move. It took her 3 years of hard work to build this array successfully. She even felt that it was perfect and had no weak points. How could it be broken like this? Chapter 386. Want to play gang up with me? Shui Laner clutched her chest, her eyes bloodshot. She neither believed nor accepted this fact. The icicles in the sky were completely annihilated by the elemental energy flames before it fell, and the battle platform was restored to its original state. It took only a few breaths of time for Lu Muyan to win, making people's eyes widen. You thought the grade 3 high-level array you built was perfect? Lu Muyan looked at Shui Laner with a smile. Shui Laner raised her head and glared at her fiercely, saying, "How did you find that weak point?" The weak point of that array that Lu Muyan found was something that even she, who arranged the array, neglected, but it unexpectedly became the key to breaking the array. Well, it's good for people to be confident, but being too conceited makes one doomed to failure. Lu Muyan looked at her with ridicule. Do you think you'll give pointers to my enemies? She knew the drawbacks of Shui Laner's array, but she wouldn't point it out. I didn't use any other means to deal with precisely to completely destroy you. The array that you're so proud of is actually so vulnerable. What other means can you use? I'll give you another chance. Lu Muyan precisely wanted to break Shui Laner's confidence. Shui Laner closed her eyes. When she opened them, her gaze was much calmer. That's what you said. Immediately, Shui Laner gathered elemental energy at her feet and quickly maneuvered around the battle platform. She was very fast, and many people couldn't see her figure clearly, only phantoms passing by. Gu Xiao and the others who were watching the battle from a distance couldn't help but smile with ridicule. This Shui Laner actually wants to play footwork in front of junior sister Lu. She's really humiliating herself. Peng Yang and the others had seen Lu Muyan's ghostly movements. Who's to blame when she sent herself to her door to be insulted? Jin Se pursed her lips in disdain. If anyone dares to slander me behind my back, then I'd go directly to their door to beat them to death. Junior sister Lu is still too kind. Gu Xiao and the others couldn't help but twitch the corners of their lips when they heard her words. Lu Muyan was too kind? Wasn't this sentence too fake? In their opinion, Lu Muyan was the truly ruthless one. If she just beat Shui Laner up, maybe she'd vent her anger, but if on the battlefield, from beginning until the end, she didn't even take the opponent to heart, waiting for the opponent to use their proudest and strongest means, then when she actually acted, it could completely destroy all the self-confidence of the other party. They dared to conclude that if Shui Laner was defeated today, she would definitely give rise to a heart demon for both her cultivation and arrays. If she didn't meet any fortuitous opportunities in this life, it would be difficult to advance much. This was truly ruthless, attacking the enemy silently, not wanting their life, but letting one fall from above the clouds to being stepped on into a quagmire. After seeing her methods, they decided even more to not provoke her in the future. Lu Muyan was even more terrifying than the demonist Jin Se. Senior sister Shui's so fast, I didn't expect her to have such footwork. A small follower of Shui Laner in the array school said cheerfully. Yeah, I didn't expect that she hid quite deeply. She sure never showed these kinds of movements before. There were also those who didn't like Shui Laner who said sourly. On the battle platform, Shui constantly shifted and changed positions. She prided herself on being as light as a swallow, but she was like a jester in front of Lu Muyen, who had extremely strong mental energy. Poochie! Suddenly, several black pills flew out from all directions and exploded in the air instantly. A black smoke lingered, and a scent that caused one to choke filled the air. This is elemental eliminating poison. Shui actually used such a sinister method. How shameless! The pupils of the Talisman School couldn't help but curse after recognizing the black pill. As the name suggested, elemental eliminating poison was something that could eliminate elemental energy. Once a sword master inhaled it, the elemental energy would be lost and their whole body would be stiff, allowing others to slaughter however they wanted. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Although this poison wasn't listed as a banned poison on this continent, but few people would use it. After all, this method wasn't righteous and couldn't be brought to the light. It's over. Junior sister Lu is in danger. Many pupils of the Talisman School looked at the battle platform anxiously. The pupils of the Array School were also somewhat conflicted at this moment. On one hand, they hoped that Shui would win. On the other hand, they felt that her victory by this method was a little incompetent. Just when most of the pupils thought that Lu Muyen had been eroded by the poisonous smoke and left to Shui to deal with, she waved her sleeve and a cyan black firebird emerged from her sleeve. The firebird chirped, opened its beak, and sucked in all the poisonous gas in the air. It then revealed a humane expression, as if unsatisfied. Shui, do you still have any more elemental eliminating pills? Give a few more. Lu Muyen said with a smile as she hooked her finger, and the firebird flew to her wrist. This was the separate spirit flame that she had refined with those snake gallbladders and extreme poison. The food it loved the most was also extreme poison. Seeing this, Shui was so angry that she spat out another mouthful of blood. She paid a lot of money to obtain those elemental eliminating pills. She originally thought that she could restrain Lu Muyen, then humiliate her, but she didn't expect it to be resolved with just one move. She wasn't reconciled. Could it be that this woman was her nemesis? Since there's no more elemental eliminating pills, then this game should end now. Lu Muyen tapped gently, and the cyan black firebird disappeared from her wrist. A strong sword aura from Shui attacked from behind. Lu Muyen tapped her toes and disappeared in place, and the sword aura fell to the ground. Immediately, Shui body flew upside down from midair and landed heavily below the battle platform. Only then did Lu Muyen's figure loom from the air. What surprised the pupils was how Lu Muyen avoided the sword aura attack from Shui. They didn't see it clearly at all. Sure isn't fun, how easily you can be beaten. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows in disgust. I originally thought that since you injured and slandered me behind my back, I'd play with you a bit more, but you're too disappointing. Shui didn't expect that apart from the fact that Lu Muyen broke her proud array with a single blow, the movement technique she had kept secret for so long as her trump card would also be so vulnerable in front of her opponent. At this moment, she suddenly felt disheartened. She was unreconciled, and she couldn't believe that she lost so easily to this hateful woman after preparing for so long. Trying to steal the chicken only to end up losing the rice? Old man Luo, there are quite a few scums in your array school. Do you need my pupils to help clean up your house? Huo Linglong glanced at Shui who couldn't accept the facts with disgust, then raised an eyebrow and said to the array school's headmaster. The headmaster of the array school had a grim expression and snorted coldly. Don't need your fake kindness. This Shui really was embarrassing. No one else could see that jade that Lu Muyen used to break the array just now, but as a grade 6 array master, he saw it very clearly. Lu Muyen indeed saw through the weak point of the array at a glance, and it was absolutely possible that she had the strength of a grade 5 array master as rumored. Shui privately tampered with the spots when applying for the schools, causing the array school to lose such an excelling talent. Now that she was defeated in such a humiliating way, the headmaster of the array school had nowhere to vent. Shui was defeated, but Lu Muyen's battle wasn't over yet. The next one she drew was the number 1 genius of the Outer Tamer school. As soon as Yin Hong stepped onto the stage, like Shui He first took out some defensive saint tools and placed them in front of him to prevent Lu Muyen from smashing talismans. Then with a thought, 2 Tier 7 demonic beasts and a Tier 8 demonic beast emerged from his spirit beast ring, instantly surrounding Lu Muyen. Lu Muyen blinked, folded her arms and chuckled. You actually want to play gang up with me? Chapter 387. Scared silly? Among the outer pupils, the sect leader and the several elders focused on raising and training Yin Hong because of his strong mental energy, so his beast-taming talent wasn't any weaker than those from the Spirit Tamers sect. Wow, senior brother Yin actually contracted 2 Tier 7 demonic beasts and 1 Tier 8 demonic beast. That's amazing. Seeing the powerful demonic beasts that suddenly appeared on the battle platform, the pupils below couldn't help but exclaim, Junior sister Lu, your talismans and arrays are too strong. I can only use this means of winning through numbers. Yin Hong cupped his hands towards Lu Muyen and smiled. Although he was a sword venerable cultivation base himself, but his strength was average, and he relied on the combat power of spirit pets. He originally thought that a pupil who had just entered the school for a bit more than a year would be easy to deal with, but after watching all the battles Lu Muyen had, he didn't dare to underestimate her, and as soon as he came to the platform, he activated his strongest tactics. He was a spirit beast master, so it wouldn't make people feel as if he was despicable even if he beat others with numbers, because that's how the battles with spirit beast masters were. Bullying others with numbers? So you know my hobbies. Lu Muyen chuckled and blinked innocently. Yin Hong noticed that her expression was still calm, and he didn't understand what she meant. What did it mean to know her hobbies? Did this woman like being bullied? But it didn't look like it. Is Lu Muyen scared silly by senior brother Yin's spirit pets? Possible, since senior brother Yin's combined combat power with 3 demonic beasts is dozens of times stronger than Shui Laner's. She must have said that because she was afraid of being outmatched. Who knows, see how she copes. Just when all the pupils thought that Lu Muyen might continue to smash talismans or arrange arrays to deal with Yin Hong's spirit pets, they saw that her eyes softened a lot, and she began to murmur to herself. Since the other party wants to compete using spirit pets, you should all go up and play with them. Before the others understood what she meant, they saw the 7-colored parrot on her shoulder instantly transform into a huge cyan blue bird. A white light and a golden light darted out from her 2 wrists. A giant pure white python with sharp horns on its head and 2 large snow-white bumps on its back landed on the battle platform. Then a golden vine climbed up from all sides of the battle platform and countless vines swayed, making one feel as if their scalps were numb. A palm-sized, half-human-looking Qi-Feng glowing in soft light and fluttering transparent wings emerged from her sleeve, wanting to join the fun, but was caught by Lu Muyen and stuffed back in. You don't need to go and join in the fun. Qi Huang blinked aggrievedly. Owner, I also want to play too. Lu Muyen rolled her eyes at her, then tossed her a pill. There's nothing fun about fighting. Although Empress Qi Huang advanced very quickly, but her body was relatively fragile. Lu Muyen didn't want this thing, who basically ate all her fortune, to be injured. Qi Huang's eyes lit up as soon as she saw the pill, and any thoughts about joining the fun instantly faded. She hugged the pill and ran to Lu Muyen's shoulder to nibble on it. Are these all Tier 8 spirit pets? The pupils below were stunned by the aura of the demonic beasts released by Lu Muyen. Miao Miao and Shui both advanced to Tier 8 demonic beast after taking the pills refined from Tier 9 demonic beasts and their blood essence, and due to the uniqueness of their bloodline, they were considered semi-invincible among Tier 8s. What? Lu Muyen's also a spirit beast master? Many pupils were in an uproar. According to the rumors, Lu Muyen could refine talismans, arrange arrays, refine pills, and unexpectedly, she was also a high-level spirit beast master. Was she going to blind them? She succeeded. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Yin Hong watched Lu Muyen's 3 spirit pets beat up his own spirit pets as soon as they appeared, and his 3 spirit pets didn't even have the strength to fight back. He couldn't help but be stunned. After carefully scrutinizing Lu Muyen's spirit pets, he was completely stunned again. Peak Phase Tier 8 Iceluan Divine Beast. A white python that was about to transform into a Jiao dragon. an extremely rare human-eating blood-thorn vine king demonic plant. And if he didn't guess wrong, the translucent human-looking demonic beast she just grabbed back was actually the Empress Qifeng. After scrutinizing Lu Muyan's spirit pets, Yin Hong's previous arrogance completely dissipated. Aoao. After a while, everyone saw that Lu Muyan's 3 spirit pets on the battle platform beat Yin Hong's demonic beasts into shrills and screams, as if they were only playing around. Yin Hong's scalp was numb, and he knew that he had lost today, and he lost completely without any complaints. Junior sister Lu, I lose. I wonder if you can let your spirit pets raise their hands in mercy? Seeing that his spirit pets were about to be maimed, he immediately cupped his hands and conceded defeat to Lu Muyan. Lu Muyan smiled and said lightly, "Senior brother went easy." Immediately, she called back the 3 spirit pets who hadn't played enough. It was nothing to beat up the other party's spirit pets, but it would be bad to continue playing them to death. This Lu Muyan's talent is too abnormally monstrous. A pupil couldn't help but mutter. Being able to easily defeat the #1 genius of the outer sect of the Tamer school in the same way meant that Lu Muyan's beast-taming talent was definitely better than Yin Hong. She was called a mission maniac before. How could she have completed so many missions without this ability? Yeah. The women of our sect are bolder and more powerful one after the other. This time the Talisman School finally regained a lot of face. Then the #1 of the Alchemy School and the Smithing School also drew a fight with Lu Muyan. Lu Muyan didn't do a lot either, and just continued to smash grade 4 talismans, taking care of them with only a few each, making the 2 of them annoyed but helpless. The pupils below were discussing in a murmur, and the several headmasters weren't calm either. The last match is a duel between Di Shirtian and Lu Muyan, right? The headmaster of the smithing school asked pointedly. Their smithing school's #1 was just smashed off the stage by Lu Muyan's talismans. Inwardly, they also hoped that people from the other schools could poke at the arrogance of Hualing Long and Lu Muyan. Di Shirtian wasn't only the most dazzling genius that was practically considered the #1 of the outer sect, but he was also the younger brother of the inner sect's genius array master. Moreover, Di Shirtian was a grade 4 array master, and a powerful sword venerable. Lu Muyan definitely wouldn't have any good fruit to eat when meeting him. The somber expression of the headmaster of the array school was much better after mentioning Di Shirtian. The 2 of them defeated the other opponents, so they'll naturally meet in the end. The headmaster of the array school still believed that Di Shirtian, who he focused on raising, could win Lu Muyan. So what about the #1 of the outer sect? The little girl of our school can still take care of him until obedience. Hualing Long sneered at the joy and triumph in the eyes of the array school's headmaster. After watching the competition for so long, she also knew that Di Shirtian and Lu Muyan were the 2 strongest pupils of the outer sect. Hualing Long knew about Di Shirtian. In addition to his strong background, the talents of the 2 brothers could also be ranked in the top 10 of the 8 extreme sect, so they received much attention and was granted much importance from above. If Lu Muyan could defeat Di Shirtian today, the resources she would obtain after entering the inner sect would definitely be different from the other pupils. Of course, the corresponding pressure would also definitely be proportional to the cultivation resources. With Lu Muyan's intelligence, she would naturally understand this. It all depended on what she chose. Random note. Hahaha, I can't help but be amused whenever I translate Di Shirtian's name. Google Translate keeps translating him to Emperor Killing Heaven or Imperial Killing Sky or Emperor Kills the Sky or whatever, and I'm just thinking that's such a vicious-sounding imperial name, because it technically is with its literal translation. And yet I'm pretty sure he's just another minor character, haha. Chapter 388. The little schemes of the several headmasters. Lu Muyan was victorious all the way, and she soon faced off against Di Shirtian, who was also victorious throughout. Di Shirtian had deep facial features, the outlines so clear as if carved from a blade. The red clothes of the 8 extremes sect made his strong figure taller and straighter, and his imposing manner was filled with momentum, giving people a sense of wild arrogance. He strolled to the battle platform, his dark eyes reaching as far as the eye could see, bold and unbridled as he swept over Lu Muyan. There was no surprise in his eyes, no disdain, only a strong sense of interest. While Di Shirtian was observing Lu Muyen, she was also scrutinizing the man who was rumored to be one of two prides of the Eight Extremes sect. The aura that he exuded was that of a middle-phase sword venerable, but Lu Muyen felt a faint sense of suppression. This man had restrained a lot of his outward aura, so his strength should be much stronger. While the two scrutinized each other, the outer pupils all looked at Di Shirtian with admiration. Senior brother Di is too manly. If I can marry him, my life will be enough. A woman who admired Di Shirtian said obsessively. Forget it, a man like senior brother Di isn't someone we can think of. The female pupil beside sighed. Even if I can really be his concubine, such a wild and domineering man isn't someone I can control. I wonder who will win between senior brother Di and Lu Muyen. A pupil said. Why do you need to ask such an obvious question? Of course senior brother Di. Although Lu Muyen's array talent isn't bad, but it's still too tender. The pupils of the talisman school were worried. Junior sister Lu meeting Di Shirtian, I wonder if she has any confidence. What confidence could she have? Di Shirtian is different from those who were defeated by junior sister Lu before. In addition to his amazing talent in arrays, he's also the #1 person in the outer sect. It's even said that he can rank among the top 30 in the inner sect. Actually, even if junior sister Lu loses to Di Shirtian, it doesn't matter. She already fought for our talisman school's face. Yeah, the performance of her and Ziche sure has already overwhelmed the elite geniuses of other schools. In the future, who would dare to look down on our talisman school for having no one? Where the headmasters sat, a ray of sharp light flashed across the eyes of the headmaster of the smithing school. Di Shirtian's elemental energy fluctuations have become much denser. Di Shirtian is worthy of being the #1 in the outer sect of the array school. Although he's only middle phase sword venerable cultivation base, but even a peak phase sword venerable sword master might find it difficult to win against him. The alchemy school's headmaster stroked his white beard and praised. The headmaster of the smithing school revealed slight regret. Lu Muyan's talent is indeed good, but it's not enough against Di Shirtian 1. Seeing Hualing Long glance over coldly, he immediately added, of course, given enough time to grow, she wouldn't be that bad. Humph, you blind old things. Hualing Long huffed coldly, a hint of ridicule on her lips. She waited to see these damned old things drop their jaws. On the battle platform, Di Shatian folded his arms and looked at Lu Muyen with a smile, saying, Junior sister, if you only have the means to smash grade 4 talismans, then there's no need to compete. A grade 4 talisman couldn't hurt him, though a grade 5 talisman could potentially threaten his life. Senior brother, just use whatever means you have. Junior sister will just follow your lead. Lu Muyen said casually, playing with a strand of her hair. The pupils below twitched the corners of their mouths when they heard this. Do you have to be so arrogant? Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, haha, junior sister sure is wild. Then let me learn a few things from you. Di Shirtian laughed loudly, took out a few array flags and began to arrange. He kept inserting seals into the array flags, and slivers of warm light penetrated into the array. Lu Muyen narrowed her eyes and chuckled. Senior brother's array is indeed really powerful. A grade 4 Sun Essence Golden Array isn't something that ordinary people can arrange. It turns out that junior sister is also a person of this path. You've seen through my array as soon as I started to arrange it. The color of interest in Di Shirtian's eyes were even stronger. I'm looking forward to your solution. All right. Lu Muyan's eyes were filled with fighting intent. The Sun Essence Golden Array could attack and defend. It could he regarded as a relatively difficult high-level array among grade 4 arrays. The person arranging it not only needed to have strong mental energy, but also needed to comprehend the 3 attribute elements of metal, fire, and wind. The power of this array didn't come from spiritual stones, but from the sunlight. As long as the sun didn't set, the array could run forever. Moreover, this array could be continuously upgraded. She once saw a large Sex Guardian array in the Immortal Cultivation world be an enhanced version of the Sun Essence Golden Array. While Di Shirtian was making arrangements, Lu Muyen no longer hesitated. She took out a few refined array flags and began to arrange 3 small arrays. Quick! Di Shirtian inserted the main array flag into the array. Suddenly, golden lights flickered one after another, forming a translucent light cover. The light cover contained a scorching energy fluctuation, and the protective power that overflowed could definitely resist the bombardment of sword venerable cultivators. At the same time Di Shirtian finished arranging his array, Lu Muyan's 3 small arrays were also arranged. The 3 arrays exuded 3 dazzling colors of gold, green and red. She inserted a Taoist seal and the 3 colored lights instantly joined together. The 3 rays of light instantly formed a light cover no weaker than the Sun Essence golden array of Di Shirtian. She was able to set up 3 small attack and defense type grade 4 high-level arrays at the same time. The headmaster of the array school couldn't help but exclaim. The headmaster of the alchemy school watched the green and red arrays, his eyes gradually burning intensely. Her fire and wood dual attributes have actually been comprehended to the great achievement realm level. If there was an opportunity, she could definitely go to the next level. If such comprehension talent was used in alchemy, it is entirely possible to become an alchemist above grade 5. The headmaster of the smithing school slammed the table in front of him and said excitedly, "Metal attribute elemental energy is almost comprehended to great achievement realm, coupled with the peak great achievement realm fire elemental energy. Lu Muyan is a great seedling for smithing." Before they only ever heard Ao Rong's constant praise of Lu Muyan's talent. They essentially had never seen her with their own eyes, so although they usually paid attention to her, but they had never been this focused on her. Her mental energy is very strong, even better than the number 1 genius in the outer sect of us Tamer school. If she enters the inner sect and goes to the Tamer school to cultivate, she would definitely be able to improve greatly. A bright light flashed across the eyes of the headmaster of the Tamer school. After the pupils of the outer sect participated in the selection assessment for the inner sect, they had the qualifications to reselect their schools. If he could dig Lu Muyan over, the Tamer school would definitely be as if a tiger added with wings too. As for the things that the headmaster of the Tamer school could think of, the headmasters of the other schools naturally also had their own small schemes inwardly. Hu Linglong glanced at the several people lightly, and didn't bother to argue with them. Either way, if anyone dared to try to compete for Lu Muyan with her, then she'd definitely go demolish their school's wall. Seeing Hu Linglong's grim gaze, the sect leader smiled shyly and said, "Let's first take a look at Lu Muyan's performance." The fight starting. 1 Elemio Nu 1. God kills the sky is now Di Shirtian's name too. To an idiom meaning to make something already amazing and powerful even better. Who doesn't want to ride a tiger with wings? XD. Chapter 389. Battle of Arrays. The sect leader's words made the several headmasters present turn their attention to the battle platform. As soon as Di Shirtian's Sun Essence golden array was constructed, wisps of sunlight scattered down, and the entire battlefield was surrounded by warm sunlight. When the sun filled the array, 3 golden beams suddenly erupted from the array and attacked Lu Muyan in unison. Lu Muyan placed her hands together and pointed at the 3 arrays that connected. Red, gold, green. 3 rays of light erupted from the array. The 6 rays of light with strong, formidable energy gathered together and exploded in mid-air in an instant, canceling each other out and vanishing in the sky. There was a strange color in Di Shirtian's dark eyes. It is rumored that junior sister Lu is already a grade 5 array master. I sneered at it before, but now I can't help but believe it after seeing junior sister's 3 mini arrays. Senior brother's Sun Essence golden array isn't weak either, not to mention that you've hidden your strength. You must also be a grade 5 array master already. Lu Muyan raised an eyebrow and smiled lightly. Di Shirtian obviously hid his strength. It now seemed that his talent was no worse than the one in the legends, and was definitely the best among the array masters of the younger generation. Junior sister has good eyesight. Since we're all grade 5 array masters, how about we exchange pointers today? Di Shirtian was filled with interest. That elder brother of his was solitary and aloof, and had nothing in common with him, not to mention exchanging pointers in arrays together. It was rare to meet a strong opponent, So today his competitive spirit also rose in his heart. Having no opponent was a lonely thing, and being able to meet a strong array master to exchange pointers with was something he had been looking forward to for a long time. All right. Then senior brother, show your true strength and let's compete for a winner. Lu Muyan hooked her lips into a bright smile. No way, right? A pupil was shocked when he heard the conversation between the two. Both of them are still holding back. Are they really grade 5 array masters? The ability to build a high-level grade 4 array that combines defense and attack isn't something that ordinary array masters can do. If the two of them hid their abilities, it's entirely possible for them to be grade 5 array masters. An elite from the array school side. Senior brother D being a grade 5 array master but hid his talent, although amazing, is still acceptable. But if Lu Muyan's also a grade 5 array master, then that'd be too shocking. Look at how old she is. The pupil of the array school secretly sighed. Comparing oneself to another could definitely infuriate oneself to death. If Lu Muyan is also a grade 5 array master, it means that her talent is even better than that of the 2D brothers. After all, she's only 18 years old and senior brother D is already 22. Few people in the inner sect can surpass such talent. No wonder Elder Ao Rong dug her to the sect. Yeah. If we didn't mention her age, it's not that amazing, but an 18-year-old peak phase sword sovereign cultivation base is also a genius in the sect. After today's battle, Lu Muyan would probably soar into the sky. But even if Lu Muyan is a grade 5 array master, I'm still more optimistic about senior brother D. If there's no accident, senior brother D has a 90% chance of winning. Not only is he a grade 5 array master, he's also a sword venerable. The discussions below fluctuated constantly, and all the pupils were filled with expectations for the following battle between the two. But this time, although more people were optimistic about Di Shirtian, no one slandered Lu Muyan. Her talent and strength had won the approval of most outer sect pupils. Di Shirtian quickly took out a cyan banner and tossed it at the array. The banner merged with the warm sunlight above the array, and tornadoes formed within the array in an instant. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks with just the addition of this wind attribute array flag, the Sun Essence Golden Array became a wind-killing array, and the grade of the array was also raised from grade 4 to grade 5. Then one after another, tornadoes swept out from the array and blew in Lu Muyan's direction. Lu Muyan's comprehension of the wind attribute was triggered by the battle with Shen Mufeng, and was at the beginner realm. She was just looking for an opportunity to comprehend it. Seeing Di Shirtian use wind elemental energy in the array to condense into a tornadoes, her eyes lit up. With a thought, a layer of soft, glazed light covered her whole body, which was a sign that her sorcerer's skill had reached layer 3 of cultivation. After taking the pill refined from the Tier 9 White Jiao Dragon Blood Essence, her Bodhi's toughness also grew stronger again. She closed her eyes and moved her ears, quietly listening to the sound of the tornado. Afterwards, her hands constantly formed seals, and a black array flag left her hand and slowly unfolded in the air. Green branches and leaves with the power to devour spread from the array on the left. Blossoming fire lotuses floated out from the array in the middle with scorching power. And needles condensed from metal elemental energy shot out from the last array. Due to the addition of the black array flag, Lu Muyan's 3 Light Guardian arrays killing array power was also activated, and the grade also changed from 4 to 5. Heavens! Senior brother D and Lu Muyan are actually really grade 5 array masters. A pupil from the array school couldn't resist exclaiming as he covered his mouth when he saw the two were fighting at a deeper level. It was one thing hearing the two talk about it before and guessing about it, but seeing the two of them construct a grade 5 array like this with their own eyes really made the pupils present unable to believe what they saw. And from a visual point of view, it seemed that Lu Muyan's array was even better. This world was becoming a fantasy. The headmaster of the array school couldn't help but stand from his seat and look at the two people on the battle platform with excitement. The look in his eyes were as if he had seen a treasure that couldn't be ignored. I didn't expect Lu Muyan and Di Shirtian to have such high talents in arrays. The headmaster of the smithing school furrowed his brows and wondered to what extent would the two of them be able to smith. His thoughts were also the thoughts of the other school's headmasters. Even Hualing Long, who had long known that Lu Muyen was a grade 5 array master and talisman master, couldn't help but marvel. The means the two used to directly integrate elements onto a grade 4 array to upgrade to a grade 5 array was something that even some senior grade 5 array masters couldn't do, and it was also combined attack and defense. On the battlefield, Lu Muyen abruptly opened her eyes, and in an instant branches, fire lotuses, and golden needles attacked Di Shirtian in unison and deliberately evaded the tornadoes. Di Shirtian furrowed his brows in confusion. With the strength of the 3 killing arrays of Lu Muyen, she could completely face his tornado. Why would she deliberately avoid it? Although he was puzzled, but he didn't dare be careless. He immediately activated the Sun Essence Golden Array to strengthen the defense, and a cyan longsword also appeared in his hand. After channeling elemental energy, he swung his sword and slashed. Cyan ripples spread out in the space, but they didn't attack Lu Muyen directly, instead, entering the tornadoes. With the addition of the cyan ripples, the speed of the tornado was significantly increased, and the wind also gradually grew stronger. Di Shirtian's wild and handsome face had a confident and unbridled smile. This was his unique skill after comprehending the wind elemental energy to great achievement. He sure hoped Lu Muyen wouldn't lose so quickly. Then he immediately took action to deal with the cohesive power continuously delivered from Lu Muyen's 3 arrays. Lu Muyen saw that the tornadoes of Di Shirtian was coming towards her more powerfully, but not only was she not afraid, she even revealed an unprecedented interest. She exited the protection of the 3 arrays with a tap of her toes, and took the initiative to enter into the tornado herself. Heavens! Lu Muyen's crazy. When everyone watched the Battle of Arrays, they only felt that it was extremely gorgeous, and they were astonished as never before. This was the first time they had seen grade 5 array masters directly set up arrays to fight. But what did they see at the critical moment of battle? Lu Muyen actually left the defensive protection of the array, ran to the vicinity of the tornadoes condensed from Di Shirtian's array, and took the initiative to enter it herself. What does she want to do? Does she not want to live? Many people shouted. Lu Muyen's crazy. Is she taking the initiative to die? That's the tornado condensed from a grade 5 array. Even a peak phase sword venerable would be ripped to pieces if they entered right. I heard that Lu Muyen's also a body cultivator, and her level isn't low either. So what if she's a body cultivator? Is that tornado something a human body can withstand? Even if the body isn't shredded, it'd be seriously injured. This woman's too crazy. Gu Xiao and the others' eyes widened in disbelief. Junior sister Lu didn't go crazy, right? Peng Yang stared at the tornado, searching for the red figure. Since Jinsei came into contact with Lu Muyen, she didn't think she was an impulsive person, but there was still some worry revealed on her face. Maybe junior sister Lu has some purpose. She wouldn't joke about her own life. Yes, this little girl Lu Muyen isn't a normal person. Let's not look at her with thoughts for a normal person. Gu Xiao sighed. That girl in the competition space was one who didn't play the cards by the rules. The people on the headmaster's seats were also completely stunned for a moment. The headmaster of the array school crushed the teacup in his hand, and his beard shook with anger. Nonsense, this is a joke. Such behavior by Lu Muyen was tantamount to sending herself to her death. How could she be so impulsive? I think she did it on purpose. Does she want to use the tornado to find an opportunity to comprehend? The headmaster of the alchemy school said with a frown. Even if she wants to comprehend something, she shouldn't joke around with her own life. That's crazy. The smithing school's headmaster shook his head with a look of disapproval. Hua Linglong's beautiful face revealed a meaningful smile instead. As expected of the person I value, she has boldness and courage. Hearing Hua Linglong's passionate words, the several headmasters couldn't resist twitching the corners of their lips. Just what did she say? Hua Linglong, her behavior is this crazy but you support it? Truly unreasonable. The headmaster of the array school looked at Hua Linglong grimly. He finally knew why Lu Muyen was so unscrupulously crazy. It seemed it was taught by this female tyrant dragon. A fine, good seedling was taught by Hua Linglong to have such a temper. What if she was killed or seriously injured by the tornadoes? He was originally going to wait for Lu Muyen to enter the inner sect and dig her over into the array school to raise. You all know rubbish. Hua Linglong glanced at the several people with disdain. She seems to be able to comprehend the wind element already, but she was only just getting started, so she has to find good opportunities to open that door. This time, the tornadoes condensed from wind elemental energy from Di Shirtian is the perfect opportunity. But it's too crazy and impulsive to do this. What if you don't comprehend it, and instead you die? The alchemy school headmaster appeared regretful. Hua Linglong sneered. Cultivation of the path is originally something heaven-defying. Only those who dared to fight can truly become powerhouses. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Know why you all are so weak? It's because you're too greedy for life and fear death. Unreasonable. The faces of the several headmasters instantly turned dark when they heard Hua Linglong's words. Women and vile people were all difficult to raise. They wouldn't entangle in an argument with her. She didn't make sense at all. Hua Linglong didn't bother paying attention to those several stubborn old fellows. She put her mental energy on the battle platform and felt for Lu Muyan's aura. If there was any danger, she would immediately act. Not only were the pupils off the platform and the headmasters above watching this match, but the top 10 core pupils in the inner sect were also quietly hiding in a corner to watch. When they saw Lu Muyan's crazy behavior, the several revealed deep thought. Di Shirtian watched in shock as Lu Muyen took the initiative to dive into the tornado that he had condensed. At first, he didn't understand her behavior, but he gradually discovered that she was actually following the tornado's trajectory, and he instantly knew the purpose of this move. She was using his tornado to comprehend the wind element attribute. Although this approach was very dangerous, as with just a little carelessness, it would kill her, but it was undeniably a shortcut to open the door to wind attribute comprehension. His heart was touched at once, and he put away all the contempt he had left for Lu Muyen before, looking towards her with a complicated gaze. Crack. Just as he was distracted, a crisp sound suddenly sounded, and as soon as he looked up, he saw a few cracks had appeared in the defensive light cover of the Sun Essence Golden Array. His expression instantly changed, and he immediately formed seals to repair it. The shock in his heart was indescribable. The power of the 3 mini-killing arrays arranged by Lu Muyen was actually this fierce? And at this time Lu Muyen, who was quietly following the wind with her eyes closed in the tornado, simply had no intention of paying attention to the reactions of the people outside. She kept walking with the wind with her flash steps, and each time the wind was about to hit her body like tens of thousands of sharp knives, she would stagger with her flash steps and avoid it subconsciously. A state that she had never felt before emerged. Her heart moved with the wind, and she slowly entered a wonderful state. The things that were once stuck in place, and her questions were all suddenly enlightened with this state of mind and nature. The tornado was constantly sweeping and scraping on the battle platform, while the pupils stared intently. From time to time, one was also able to see a touch of red clothes in the wind, shuttling as if there was no one. Suddenly, the 3 killing arrays built by Lu Muyen shone brightly. Branches, fire lotuses, and golden needles were continuously sacrificed one after the other with more power than before. The repair speed of Di Shirtian was obviously not as fast as the attack speed of Lu Muyen's array, and cracks appeared on the translucent light cover in an instant. Boom! With the final 3 colored beams shooting down, the Sun Essence Golden Array was broken. Di Shirtian was shocked and quickly sacrificed several defensive saint treasures. The long sword in his hand danced quickly, and the sword aura that broke through the air slashed out. Di Shirtian was in an extremely embarrassing state from the bombardment of the arrays. He approached the 3 arrays again and again, wanting to find a breakthrough but failed. And because the Sun Essence Golden Array was broken, the power support given to the tornado gradually weakened, and the tornado disappeared in the sky after a while. Lu Muyen, who was indulging in an inextricable state, suddenly opened her eyes with a hint of regret. If she comprehended for a while longer, her wind attribute might be able to directly enter the understanding realm. Looking down, she saw that Di Shirtian was trying to find the weaknesses of her arrays. She curled her lips and inserted a few Taoist seals into the array in midair. The 3 arrays appeared as if alive, and a ball of 3-colored light slowly rose from the connected arrays, then shot towards Di Shirtian at the speed of light. Chapter 391. Become Outer Sex Number 1. The light ball that slowly rose from the array and flew out in a stream of light wasn't that conspicuous, but Di Shirtian didn't dare be careless. He immediately sacrificed a high-level saint treasure to resist, and then quickly evaded. However, the speed of the light ball was too fast and it even incorporated a hint of the wind element that Lu Muyin only just comprehended, so after Di Shirtian's shield resisted most of the power, the light ball brushed over the shield and struck Di Shirtian. As soon as it touched Di Shirtian's body, the 3-colored light ball quickly turned into a ray of light and struck him hard. Piu. Although Di Shirtian was a strong sword venerable powerhouse, but his body was different to sword masters who refine their bodies. Even if only a third of the power struck his body, it would still force him back and spit out a mouthful of blood. After the 3-colored light dissipated, everyone just saw the originally handsome, prideful and unbridled Di Shirtian clutching his chest, panting in a sorry state, with a trace of undried blood down the corner of his lips. His clothes were shattered in many places and his hair was loose. It was basically impossible to think he was the same person as the high-spirited number 1 person of the outer sect. On the other hand, looking at Lu Muyin, she revealed a thoughtful gaze on her stunning face, standing in the air. Her long black hair tied up high, fluttering in the wind. Her appearance like a painting, skin whiter than snow. She was filled with pride and arrogance and unbridled self-confidence, and also a kind of carefree, otherworldly temperament, just standing there quietly as if a picture scroll. Pleasing to the eye. Junior sister Lu, you have won. Di Shirtian looked up at the woman standing in the air, and a hint of pleasant amazement appeared in his eyes. Then he curbed his emotions and smiled bitterly. He was destined to be extraordinary from the moment he was born. Although he was covered by the brilliance of that peerless genius elder brother, but he had also caught up with him since his innate talent awoke. He was the pride of the clan, the focus of the sect's training and the genius worshipped by countless brothers and sisters of the same sect. And this time was also the first time he had been defeated in more than 20 years, and he had never been in such a sorry state before. He did possess contempt at the beginning of the battle towards Lu Muyin. Even if he gradually grew vigilant later, it was too late, but it was undeniable that he did lose. In this battle that he and the rest of the sect originally thought would have no suspense, he actually lost, and it wasn't a wrongful loss at all. Lu Muyin's talent had surpassed him already. It wasn't scary to lose. Instead, he felt a sense of happiness inwardly. The smooth sailing in the past 20 years had made him so prideful that he had gradually lost his way. Now this battle was like a blow to the head to wake him up and let him understand that there are mountains beyond a mountain, skies beyond a sky, people beyond people, and that there were those stronger amongst the strong. Lu Muyin was originally still pondering about the sliver of wind elemental energy she had just integrated into the array just now, and only looked down at Di Shirtian when she heard him speak. She saw that there was a streak of blood on the corner of his lips. His appearance was rather sorry, and the injury on his chest he clutched at was obviously not light. But there was no resentment in his deep black eyes, and instead, there was an incomparable brightness, as if he had found a street lamp. There was an arc on her lips. Di Shirtian was a broad-minded, open-hearted person. No wonder he could go so far at such a young age. I have a pill here to heal injuries, take it first, senior brother. Lu Muyin flashed over in front of Di Shirtian, took out a pill and handed it over. Di Shirtian looked at the lustrous and full pill, and was stunned for a moment when he smelled the medicinal fragrance emanating from it. He immediately took the pill, ate it, and it melted instantly in his mouth. As expected, a grade 4 pill. Thank you, junior sister. Moments after taking the pill, he felt that the blood surging in his body gradually calmed down and his swollen and painful internal organs felt much more relaxed. Your pill is a good thing. Senior brother is too polite. Lu Muyin smiled modestly. She also gained a lot from the battle with Di Shirtian this time. She was in a good mood, and this senior brother looked even more pleasing to the eyes. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. In addition, she was about to enter the inner sect, and she should be able to participate in the grand competition between the 6 major sects not long after with Di Shirtian, so she still hoped to not have a grudge with this person. But seeing that Di Shirtian didn't resent her now, her impression of him couldn't help but improve slightly. Of course, if Di Shirtian was the kind of villain that was narrow-minded and held grudges, although she wouldn't be afraid, but she wouldn't take the initiative to show friendliness. Junior sister earlier was comprehending by borrowing the wind element power condensed from my array? Di Shirtian still couldn't help but ask this question he had. Lu Muyen nodded and didn't conceal it either. I did comprehend the wind element through senior brother's array earlier. If there's a chance, I would like to exchange pointers again with senior brother. I wonder if senior brother D would reward some face at that time. Di Shirtian's wind element attribute had already reached the great achievement realm, which was already considered very outstanding among the younger generation. Exchanging pointers with him would help her improve her understanding of the wind elemental energy. Haha, Di Shirtian laughed heartily. I can't ask enough for it. Then I'll come to find junior sister to exchange pointers. Junior sister better not find me annoying. Lu Muyan's fire element was already at great achievements perfection realm, and her skills in arrays were even more superior. Exchanging pointers with her would also help him advance a lot. Even if she didn't bring it up, he would also take the initiative to pester her to exchange pointers when they enter the inner sect in the future. I think senior brother is very pleasing to the eyes, so I'll gift this essence force pill to senior brother. I think it can help you break through the bottleneck of this level. Lu Muyen took out a porcelain bottle and gave it to Di Shirtian. She discovered that Di Shirtian's cultivation base should be stuck at middle phase sword venerable for a while. She didn't mind selling him a favor with a pill to break through this bottleneck. And the stronger his strength, the more beneficial it was for the grand competition between the 6 major sects. Di Shirtian was also a refreshing and thick-skinned person. Hearing her say that, his eyes lit up and he opened the bottle to take a sniff. It was just a sniff, and he already felt the elemental energy within him surging in his body even more vigorously. If he took it, the effect would be exactly like what she said, helping him to advance phase sword venerable. He immediately put the pill away with a bit of gratitude revealed on his face. Thank you for junior sister's generosity. This pill is really important to me. I will definitely befriend someone like junior sister. If there is anything you need after entering the inner sect, junior sister can come find me. Alright. Senior brother, it can be seen out of blows friendship grows. The way the two changed from being opponents to friends was too fast. The pupils who were still trapped in the aftertaste of the battle, just now was a little unable to react fast enough. Lu Muyen actually defeated senior brother D. That's a miracle. Yeah. And from the sincere look on senior brother D, it's obvious that he's not begrudging of what happened just now. He probably benefited a lot from that battle. Someone couldn't help but envy. The position of the number 1 person of the outer sect seems to be replaced today. Someone sighed. Indeed. She's now the worthy number 1 person of the outer sect. It's a pity that she would enter the inner sect in a few days to compete with that bunch of abnormal monsters for a place. With her performance in this assessment competition, she'll definitely be raised with importance by the sect. How enviable. The people below kept speaking words of envy, but the shock and astonishment in their hearts couldn't dissipate it for a long time. Yanjun Ling Fei Yang and Mo Ling were also lucky enough to win a spot in the inner sect this time. Seeing how outstanding Lu Muyen was, they couldn't help but smile bitterly while also sighing with joy. They were people who were also selected to enter the sect from the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony, but the gap between them and her was only getting bigger and bigger. While the students below chatted and discussed chaotically, the headmasters sitting above weren't calm either at this moment. Emperor slaughtering heaven haha. Chapter 392. Enter the inner sect. The several headmasters had varying thoughts at this time. The headmaster of the alchemy school was staring at the pills that Lu Muyen gave Di Shatian, while the headmaster of the array school couldn't sit still any longer. As soon as the intersex pupils' quota assessment competition was over, the headmaster of the array school left in a hurry to the sect leader. Hua Linglong watched him follow the sect leaders back in a hurry with an arc of ridicule on her lips. It seemed that this old man wanted to dig the corner of her talisman school. The headmasters of the other schools all had varying thoughts, but all waited for the headmaster of the array school to take the lead. The moment the sect leader took one step into the door, the headmaster of the array school followed behind. After sitting down, the attendant of the sect leader brewed a pot of tea for the two and exited the door. Senior brother, do you have any plans for after Lu Muyan enters the inner sect? The headmaster of the array school asked first. The sect leader gently scraped the tea leaves in the cup with the lid, then spoke slowly after a while. Do you think Hua Linglong will give up Lu Muyan? Sect leader, when Lu Muyan chose schools, Shui Laner used tricks, so she went to the talisman school. With her outstanding array talent, it's best to transfer to the array school. The headmaster of the array school said straightforwardly. Her talent in arrays is indeed heaven-defying, but being able to refine grade 4 talismans shows that her talent on the path of talismans is also exceptional. It's impossible for Hua Linglong to let her go. The sect leader said, sounding rather troubled. The headmaster of the array school's expression was incomprehensible. Then he thought about it and asked, what if Lu Muyan chose the array school voluntarily? If it's Lu Muyan's own choice, I will naturally not interfere, and Hua Linglong has no right to leave her in the talisman school. The sect leader said, all right, after Lu Muyan enters the inner sect, this old man will go and talk to her. Joy rose on the face of the headmaster of the array school. The sect leader glanced at him lightly and said with a smile, Lu Muyan's talent has been noticed by the superiors of the sect. After entering the inner sect, once the pagoda of enlightenment is opened, if she performs well, it's very likely that she will be accepted by one of them as a disciple. If you want to talk to her, I won't stop you, but you can't force her. The headmaster of the array school was stunned for a moment, then understanding crossed his face. I understand. If she doesn't want to come to the array school, I won't force it. However, he could still lure Lu Muyan. He believed that in the face of absolute interests, anyone could be tempted. After the headmaster of the array school left, the headmaster of the alchemy school and the several other headmasters also came to visit the sect leader. After obtaining the same answer, they planned to wait for Lu Muyan to enter the inner sect before making plans. After returning to the talisman school, Lu Muyan was greeted by the pupils of the same school. After she dealt with it, she hid in her own courtyard and cultivated without seeing guests. In the battle with Di Shirtian, she was able to grasp a sense of comprehension of the wind element. In the next few days, she was further comprehending it. 5 days later, she received a communication talisman. When she opened the courtyard door, she saw Zi Chaisher standing at the door with a light smile. Why are you here, senior brother? All the places for the inner pupils have been decided. The sect leader asked me and you to report to the inner sect. Zi Chaisher said gracefully. Lu Muyan nodded. All right, will we go now? Lu Muyan wasn't as familiar with the 8 Extreme sect as Zi Chaisher, and the two took an hour to fly to a remote hall on their swords. The inner sect is here? Lu Muyan blinked and asked. Zi Chaisher chuckled. Of course not, but we have to take a flying demonic beast from here. The inner sect is far from here? Lu Muyan asked as they walked. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Zi Chaisher took them to the top floor of the main hall. It will take more than half a day to arrive. After Lu Muyan went up to the top floor, she found that there were quite a few halos. Within the halos caged numerous Tier 7 flying-type demonic beasts, all domesticated. The two of you are doing to the inner sect? An elder who managed the flying-type demonic beast hall looked at the two and asked. Yes. Zi Chaisher handed over the passes for the two of them. After the elder checked it, a smile appeared on his face. Come with me. Immediately, the two sat on a Tier 7 tiger-faced eagle beast, and soared in the opposite direction to the outer sect. Why don't we use our own flying magic tools? Is there something special about it? Lu Muyan asked while sitting on the tiger-faced eagle beast. The location of the inner sect is a bit special. Only the tiger-faced eagles raised by the sect who have special marks since childhood can find the place to enter. Zchaser paused, then said, "Of course, after we obtain a new identity token after entering the inner sect, we can also come and go freely. We don't need to go to the inner sect with the other people?" Lu Muyen thought at first that the sect would let the pupils go to the inner sect to report together. The outer sect pupils of each school will report together in their schools, and the other pupils of our talisman school will be led by headmaster to report in 2 days. Zchaser explained. "Then why are we 2 days early?" Lu Muyen furrowed her brows, very puzzled. The Pagodas of Enlightenment one will be opened in 2 days for some reason, and only the 2 of us from the Talisman School can go to the Pagodas of Enlightenment to comprehend, so they arranged for us to be earlier. Zchaser's eyes were filled with anticipation. "I see." Near the evening, the tiger-faced eagle beast crossed a large lake, and after passing the lake, one could see the undulating forest, exceptionally spectacular. The tiger-faced eagle beast made several high-pitched shrieks, and its 2 claws landed on a tree dozens of feet high and patted a spot. Then one saw that its claws was imprinted in a hidden array. After its aura matched, one saw an ancient gate appear out of thin air atop a large tree. The gate opened slowly, and the tiger-faced eagle beast spread its wings and entered. The gate then immediately closed behind them. Lu Muyen didn't expect that the inner sect would be hidden in such a place. The huge tree was obviously the edge of a huge guardian array of the sect. After entering the gate, one saw numerous great halls standing majestically at intervals in the distance with pupils wandering around from time to time. Spiritual clouds surrounded the area, and the spiritual fields below were planted with various spiritual herbs and flowers. The concentration of spiritual energy here was more than 3 times that of the outer sect. The surrounding floating islands were entirely covered by an array, and the tiger-faced eagle beast carefully avoided them one by one. Most of these floating islands are the residences of elders. You should be careful not to come to this area when flying in the future. Zchaser reminded Lu Muyen when he saw her look at the floating islands. Spiritual energy gathering arrays must be arranged on all those floating islands, right? Lu Muyen said while rubbing her chin. Zchaser chuckled and said, "Junior sister really has good eyesight. Only elders live on the floating islands?" Lu Muyen watched a young man fly on a sword entering a floating island in the distance. The man was wearing the clothes of an inner pupil. If the pupils can rank in the top 10 in contribution points, then they can also spend their contribution points to buy some time to live on a floating island. That senior brother is one of them. Zchaser's expression was filled with yearning. In addition to the spiritual energy gathering array, I heard that the floating islands has many benefits and uses. If junior sister can earn enough contribution points in the future, you should consider it. 1-inch Chinese, there isn't anything like plurals in English, so when they mention the Pagodas of Enlightenment, previously I translated it to Tower of Enlightenment. It could be taken as several or only just one. They never mentioned the number, so I forgot there were several. After translating a little later, I realized it was more than one pagoda, so I'm correcting it here. Chapter 393. The Devil Lord that's being disliked. Lu Muyen saw the scorching yearning in Zchaser's eyes. She raised her head and swept the celestial land like floating islands surrounded by spiritual clouds. She discovered that each floating island not only had a spiritual energy gathering array, but also integrated an attack and defense array, isolating all divine sense and sonic waves outside. You mean that only the top 10 people on the inner sect's contribution points can buy usage time of floating islands? Zchaser smiled and shook his head. All inner sect pupils can buy the usage time of floating islands, but the contribution points spent is extremely astonishing. Some people have calculated that only the top 10 pupils in the rankings can afford it. How long can I buy some living time with 100,000 contribution points? Lu Muyen asked after thinking for a bit. A month or so. Zchaser said with a bitter smile. You obtained 100,000 sect contribution points for killing Shen Mufeng. Although you're ranked first in the outer sect, but you might not even rank in the top 100 in the inner sect. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows. Only a month? What a fraud. Spending 100,000 contribution points to live on a floating island for a month felt like a luxury now. No wonder only the top 10 have the ability to buy time. She used to think that her sect contribution points was quite high, but who knew that after Zchaser said that, it didn't seem that high at all. All the consumptions in the inner sect require contribution points. Usually, the resources issued by the sect aren't enough to be used. If there's no contribution points, it's impossible to do anything in the inner sect. Zchaser explained. The contribution points for killing a sword saint can only equate to 1 month of time on a floating island. So how do other people obtain contribution points? Lu Muyen was speechless. Although the sect has issued wanted orders, but they don't encourage pupils in the sect to do wanted missions. After all, those on the wanted list are not only powerful but also very ruthless. So the contribution points reward is relatively disproportionate to the risk of the reward. Zchaser said. Seeing a bit of confusion in her eyes, Zchaser continued to explain. Each pupil of the inner sect is an outstanding genius on Tianling continent. The sect doesn't want those elite pupils to be lost in the hands of the wanted just for training. The other training missions are also very dangerous, but the nature of those are different. Lu Muyen nodded. Understandable. If the sect went to so much trouble to raise a peerless genius with their resources, but they all died thanks to those wanted criminals in a mission, then how much of a loss that be? Actually, I don't know the specific method of earning contribution points in the inner sect. I only know that if you want better and high-quality cultivation environments and resources, then you must first work hard to earn contribution points. Zchaser sighed and said. The competition in the inner sect isn't at the same level as those in the outer sect. Exchange with contribution points? Interesting. Lu Muyen hooked the corner of her lips. No matter where, one couldn't gain benefits without working hard for it. The sect couldn't possibly blindly give. It was more interesting and challenging for her to strive for everything by herself. Zchaser's lips twitched violently. What seemed extremely hard and bitter to them turned out to be interesting to her. The tiger-faced eagle beast took them to the entrance of the main hall in the central area, then flew away. A pupil outside the door saw the two coming down from above, and walked over with a smile. Our junior brother and junior sister here to report to the inner sect? We were ordered to report today. Zchaser handed over the welcome token for the two of them. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. After the pupil checked it, there was a bit of surprise in his eyes. He raised his head and looked at the two of them again with an even deeper smile on his face. Junior brother, junior sister, come with me. After taking Lu Muyen and Zchaser to the management office of the main hall, he left. Steward Wang at the inner sect registration office. Give me your original identity tokens. Steward Wang looked at the two with a kind smile and said. After the two handed the identity tokens over, Steward Wang put them away, then took out 2 new jade tokens for them, then said, imprint your own essence on this. This is your new pass to the inner sect in the future, you must keep it well. After receiving the identity jade token, Steward Wang took the two to the resource management office to receive an interspatial ring each, which contained the uniform of the inner sect and some resources for newly promoted inner sect pupils. Each inner sect pupil has individual residences. Core pupils can also open a cave in a fixed spiritual mountain by themselves. Because the two of you are going to the pagodas of enlightenment tomorrow, you can temporarily live here today. After you come out of the pagoda of enlightenment, there will naturally be someone who will arrange your accommodations. Steward Wang took the two to a side hall where they lived exclusively. Yes, thank you, Steward Wang. The two replied with a smile. After Steward Wang left, Lu Muyen and Zchaser greeted each other and went back to their rooms to rest. The spiritual force here is so dense. Bingji jumped from her shoulder to the table, picked up a teapot and poured himself a glass of water, then said with dislike, this spiritual water is good, but the spiritual tea sure is bad. Lu Muyen rolled her eyes at him. It's already good that they even offer it. The tea leaves she used to brew tea was all top-grade spiritual tea that Gai Mingxiu gifted before separating. Not many people on this continent could afford it, and one couldn't buy it even if they had spiritual stones. Compared to the spiritual tea of the sect, it was like heaven and earth. I heard that you can't bring spirit pets to the pagodas of enlightenment together. You should all stay here and cultivate well. Lu Muyen glanced at Bingji. You've already reached peak phase tier 8. I'll give you a few pills in a bit. You should quickly break through during this time. Although it's difficult to break through to tier 9 demonic beast, but Bing Jis' innate divine beast talent determined that he wouldn't have a huge bottleneck when advancing to tier 9 like other demonic beasts. Alright, little owner, don't worry, I've already sensed a sliver of opportunity to break through. Bing Ji had been cultivating pretty hard recently, mainly because Miao Miao and Shui were now on the same tier as him, and he felt it was very embarrassing. Work hard. Lu Muyen smiled meaningfully at him, then poked Mo Yen and said, during my absence, watch them closely and don't go out to cause trouble. Let's put your pendant here too. The pagodas of enlightenment should have a high-level array that scans automatically. Jun Luochen will most likely be discovered if he follows you in. Mo Yen thought for a while and said. Lu Muyen took the pendant off her neck and tossed it to Mo Yen like some hot potato. If the superiors of the sect knew that she had been raising a devil race, they'd definitely skin her. It's honestly really dangerous to carry this devil lord around. Jun Luochen was a ticking hidden danger. She really didn't know if it was good or bad to keep him to cooperate with. He sure was troublesome. Mo Yen waved his paw in dislike and the pendant fell around Bing Jis' neck. I don't like the aura on him. There were frequent wars between the devil realm and the demon realm, and he didn't like that dark evil aura that the devil lord Jun Luochen carried. Jun Luochen, who was being disliked by the one person and one beast, twitched the corner of his mouth speechlessly. There was also a day where he, a dignified devil realm's devil lord, would also be this disliked by a human and demon. Chapter 394. The Pagodas of Enlightenment. Early the next morning, an elder brought Lu Muyen and Zi Chaisher to the central hall. At this time, the sect leader and Elder Ao Rong were both sitting in the center of the main hall, and there were more than a dozen pupils standing in front of them. As soon as Lu Muyen approached, they found that the 11 pupils had a strong aura even when restrained. It could be seen that these people were the old pupils of the inner sect, and Lu Muyen saw Jin Sei among the 11 people. Jin Sei cast a kind smile at Lu Muyen and blinked. At the same time, many of the 11 people looked at the two of them in unison, with gazes of playfulness, indifference, disdain, the whole lot. Then several elders brought the new pupils from other schools, who could enter the pagodas of enlightenment to cultivate here. Lu Muyen recognized Di Shirtian and Yin Hong among them. When everyone had arrived, the sect leader cleared his throat lightly and said to the pupils below, I think you all know the purpose of gathering you here today. The sect's specialization pagodas of enlightenment is about to open, which is a very rare opportunity. The sect leader paused, then said, in the past, pupils who wanted to enter the pagodas of enlightenment to comprehend and cultivate must achieve a certain contribution points value, or have certain talent recognized by the guardian elders of the pagodas of enlightenment. However, the situation this time is special, especially the new pupils who have entered the inner sect must seize this opportunity. You'll all represent the 8 Extremes sect in the coming 6 Major Sects Grand Competition in 3 months. The most important thing is that this competition is related to the number of places each of the 6 major sects can obtain to enter the land of inheritance, so the hope of the entire sect is placed on you all. The sect leader's solemn gaze landed on the 9 newly promoted inner sect pupils, including Lu Muyen. Hearing him say this, all the pupils were stunned. Lu Muyen had long known about this from Hualing Long, but she also revealed a surprised expression at the right time. Sect leader, do you mean that we need newly promoted inner pupils to compete for the places for the land of inheritance? A mature-looking man among the old pupils stood up and cupped his hands to the sect leader as he asked. The sect leader sighed and replied, this decision was made by the ancestors of the 6 major sects, and no one dares to change it. But they would only have been in the inner sect for 3 months before participating in the 6 major sects grand competition. Isn't this a little suspenseful? A burly-looking, straightforward pupil asked with furrowed brows. The other sects will also have newly promoted inner sect pupils participate in the grand competition. There is no doubt about this. That's why we're opening the pagodas of enlightenment to let them enter and cultivate. Presumably other sects will also try their best to improve the strength of their newly promoted pupils in the next 3 months. The sect leader said. Since they're all standing on the same starting line, then it's fair. It's just that in the past, during the grand competition, us 8 Extreme sect is always last. This time, it's related to places for the land of inheritance. Our 8 Extreme sect is at a very disadvantageous spot. The mature-looking man spoke again. The sect leader's eyes also revealed some concern. This is also something that can't be helped. The rules set by the ancestors need to be followed even if our 8 Extreme sect is wiped out in the grand competition. In the last 6 major sects grand competition, the 8 Extreme sect only won 3rd place in the combat competition, and took 2nd place in the array competition, while in all the other specializations, they were completely wiped out. Enough now, it's useless to talk so much about it. Elder Ao Rong said with a stern expression. This time, the newly promoted pupils of the inner sect are all rather good, and they may achieve excellent results. What you have to worry about now is how you can comprehend more in the pagodas of enlightenment. Yes, Ao Rong, take them to the pagodas of enlightenment. The sect leader said as he waved his hand. Yes, senior brother. Ao Rong used a flying magic took to bring the group to a hidden hall. After activating the array, he then used the teleportation array to teleport them all the secret area of the 8 Extreme sect. After entering the secret area, Lu Muyen saw 5 towering stone pagodas in front of her, revealing a feeling as if it had all experienced the vicissitudes of life, and each pagoda of enlightenment exuded the pressure of a high-level divine tool. Ao Rong, so you're the leader this time. An elder walked out from each of the 5 pagodas of enlightenment. One of them calmly looked at the 20 people behind Ao Rong and said, This time, the pupils look pretty good overall. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks to make you old things say good. It seems that we still have hope of winning the grand competition between the 6 major sects. Ao Rong said with a smile. The corners of the other elders' mouths twitched. This fellow, Ao Rong, just liked to cater. When wasn't there 8 Extreme sect last? This group of pupils appeared good, but the newly promoted inner pupils from other sects were even better. Alright, let me talk about the rules for entering the pagodas of enlightenment. One of the elders who seemed to be highly respected stroked his gray beard and said, There are 5 pagodas of enlightenment, namely the Alchemy Pagoda, Talisman Pagoda, Smith Pagoda, Array Pagoda, and Taming Pagoda. Each pagoda is divided into 9 floors. Each floor of the pagodas of enlightenment has detailed enlightenment walls. You can start to comprehend when you insert your mental energy into the wall. If a pupil has a deep understanding of the things on the first floor of a pagoda of enlightenment, the pagoda of enlightenment will automatically activate and send the person to the second floor and so on, until you reach the limit of your comprehension. Then the pagoda of enlightenment will send the pupil outside the pagoda. Of course, the higher the floors you're on in the pagodas of enlightenment, it means the more you have comprehended, and the stronger your talent for that specialization. The opportunity is in front of you. After entering a pagoda of enlightenment, first adjust your mentality. If you can enter the empty state, then it would be the best. If you've comprehended it to the limit and is teleported out, then don't force it. The elder introduced the rules of the pagodas of enlightenment. Yes, the 20 people replied in unison. If you have any questions, you can ask them now. After an incense stick of time, you can enter the pagodas to comprehend. The elder paused, then said, Elder, this junior has a question. One of the old pupils stood up and said, Speak. Do we choose which of the 5 pagodas of enlightenment we enter, or are they arranged by elders? You choose for yourself. If someone doesn't only have one specialization, then after they are teleported out of a pagoda of enlightenment, they can continue to enter another pagoda of enlightenment. Excuse me, elder, what is the highest floor of the pagodas of enlightenment has a pupil of the sect entered? A pupil asked with expectation and confidence. Among the 5 pagodas of enlightenment, A peerless genius of the 8 Extremes sect who has already ascended to Guangling World has comprehended to the 7th floor, and it's the 7th floor of 4 pagodas. Hearing the elder say this, many people had longing and varying emotions in their eyes. Lu Muyan's eyes were filled with interest. She sure wanted to see just how one comprehended in the pagodas. As long as the pupils who enter the pagoda comprehend to the 5th floor, then your future achievements will be extraordinary. You should all work hard. Here, the pupils and elders exchanged questions and answer, and soon an incense stick of time arrived. All right, you can choose one of the pagodas of enlightenment to enter. All 5 pagodas can be entered for comprehension, but the time spent altogether cannot exceed 2 months. After 3 months was the 6 major sects grand competition, so the longest time for comprehending in the pagodas of enlightenment was 2 months. But although they said 2 months, the elders of each pagoda didn't take it to heart, because except for the peerless genius who ascended and took 1 month and a half altogether in the 4 pagodas, the others used at most 1 month to comprehend. Chapter 395. Ao Rong sets a trap Lu Muyen, and the others entered the pagods of enlightenment in turn. Among the 20 people, most chose the array pagoda, the alchemy pagods, and the smithing pagods, with the least being the talisman pagods, so she first entered the talisman pagods. There was also Ziche Shi who entered the talisman pagoda with her. As soon as they stepped into the gate of the pagods, they were teleported to an independent space. There was a yellow crystal wall in the space, the material unknown, and several round cushions were placed in front of the crystal wall. Lu Muyen and Ziche Shi glanced at each other with a smile, then each chose a round cushion to sit on cross-legged without speaking. Neither of them were in a hurry to comprehend, but instead quietly adjusted their states. When they were in their best state in their sea of consciousness, they began to use their mental energy to penetrate into the crystal wall. As soon as Lu Muyan's mental energy touched the crystal wall, an energy forcefully sucked her mind into it. She wasn't nervous. She relaxed her body and began to accept it. Immediately, her mental energy turned into a little person the size of a palm and appeared in a dark space, pitch black without end. She looked around calmly and indifferently, then heard a mechanical voice. Choose a direction and keep walking. Don't miss the scenery along the way. When you reach the limit at the end, you will be sent out of the 1st floor. Lu Muyen closed her eyes, then when she opened them, she had a firm look in them. She didn't think much about it, and walked directly in the direction she faced when teleported in. Walking aimlessly in the dark space, she discovered that she was like a mortal, having lost all her spiritual energy, and her mental energy couldn't explore what was ahead either. She even felt that she was completely powerless. This walk took her 1 day and 1 night. She didn't stop. On the 2nd day, a light screen suddenly appeared on the road ahead. She stopped and watched quietly. The light screen ahead was an introduction to the basic knowledge of talismans, which was easy to understand and very detailed. After she finished watching the first screen, she closed her eyes and quietly recalled the images that appeared on the screen earlier. After the spiritual experience, she continued to step forward. Just like this, she continued to walk and continued to watch, as if having walked a year, 2, 10 years of time. When a dazzling light suddenly appeared in front of her, Lu Muyen was teleported out of the crystal wall and fell into another independent space. In a stone house beside the pagods of enlightenment, the elders of the 5 pagodas and Ao Rong drank wine while chatting and watching the small reflection projected from a crystal ball. Someone entered the 2nd floor already. An elder swept the image projection of the talisman pagoda and made a sound of confusion. Others looked over, and when Ao Rong saw that Lu Muyen was the first to comprehend to the 2nd floor, he laughed loudly. The person dug here by this old man sure is extraordinary. Maybe this little girl can comprehend to the 7th floor. Just keep boasting. This little girl's talent might not be bad, but it's just indulging in a wild fantasy to think she can comprehend to the 7th floor. The guardian elder of the talisman pagoda rolled his eyes at him. I think it's already amazing if she can comprehend to the 5th floor. Elder Ao Rong pursed his lips. Don't underestimate this girl. You old thing, she shouldn't be compared to ordinary people. Which of the inner pupils who can enter the pagodas of enlightenment are ordinary? In the end, they all stopped below 7th floor. The elder of the alchemy pagoda said. Over so many years, apart from the one who comprehended to the 7th floor, the best result was that Di Shifeng who comprehended to the 6th floor of the Array Pagoda the last time the pagodas of enlightenment were opened. The elder of the Array Pagoda said proudly. Ao Rong raised an eyebrow and asked. Di Shifeng comprehended to the 6th floor. Doesn't that mean he's already a grade 6 array master? It can only be said that he's more likely to become a grade 6 array master. The elder of the Array Pagoda paused, then continued. The floors of each of the 5 pagodas of enlightenment only mean that the person may reach that achievement in the future, and doesn't represent that they already have that ability. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, of course. There are also people who have comprehended to the 5th floor, but when they combine comprehension and opportunities, they can also enter a higher level. On the contrary, the pupils who can comprehend to the 6th floor might not necessarily become a grade 6 array master. The higher the floor one comprehends, it means the better their talent. Generally, there's a 60% chance of the person reaching the specialization level corresponding to the pagoda floor. The elder of the Array Pagoda smiled mysteriously. As far as this old one knows, Di Shifeng one only just advanced to grade 6 array master. And he's also a genius pupil, first of the inner sect to become a grade 6 in a specialization. The eyes of the several elders revealed surprise and praise. Di Shifeng was indeed a very good pupil in the inner sect. He was also the one who won 2nd place in the array competition between the 6 major sects last time. Hearing the elder of the Array Pagoda praise Di Shifeng so highly, Ao Rong remembered Lu Muyan's performance in her array talents. It's undeniable that the talent of Di Shifeng too is indeed excelling, but Lu Girl definitely isn't outmatched. If you don't believe it, just watch. He had an inexplicable confidence in Lu Muyan. Come on, that little girl was dug over by you from the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony. Of course you'd say that. The elder of the smithing pagoda sneered. You don't believe me? Ao Rong asked with a snort and raised an eyebrow. Don't believe. The 5 guardian elders of the 5 pagodas responded invariably. Then why don't we make a bet? Ao Rong suggested. The elder of the talisman pagoda looked at Lu Muyan who was still comprehending on the 2nd floor, and asked with a smile. What kind of bet? I'm betting that Lu Muyan will be able to comprehend to the 6th floor and above in the Alchemy Pagoda, Array Pagoda, and Talisman Pagoda. Ao Rong appeared confident. If I lose, I'll give you a jug of high-level bloodsack wine. If you lose, give me the pagoda spirit's force you've accumulated over the past 10 years. The several people exchanged a look with each other, then sneered. You have spiritual wine brewed from bloodsack? Keep boasting. Fine, I'll give you a taste first. If you don't bet, then you'll regret it later. With a thought from Ao Rong, a pot of bloodsack wine appeared on the table. The elder of the alchemy pagoda took the lead in picking up the jug and pouring a cup. The red liquid in the cup was so transparent that there wasn't a single bit of impurity in it at all, and a fragrant aroma of wine emanated from the cup. He took a sip immediately and his eyes that had been a little cloudy lit up. The sweetness is clear, the aftertaste is endless, and it has the effect of improving cultivation. Good wine. When the other elders saw him lift the jug to pour a 2nd cup, they quickly grabbed the jug and poured a drink each. After they finished, they all cried, Good wine! Good wine! This old one hasn't tasted such quality bloodsack wine in so long. Ao Rong, where did you get this bloodsack wine? Stream Reflection Restaurant? Ao Rong said disdainfully. With just the skills of those stingy damned old things from the Stream Reflection Restaurant? Don't ask where the wine comes from, just give one word, bet or not. The several elders were all old alcoholics and they didn't believe that Lu Muyan could comprehend to the 6th floor at all. So they immediately agreed, bet. Why won't we bet? It seems that you have to go back and prepare some more jugs of bloodsack wines. There was a hint of slyness in Ao Rong's eyes. This bloodsack wine was given to him by Lu Girl last time. Even if he really lost the bet, he'd just go ask Lu Girl for it. But if he won the bet with these 5 old fellows and obtained the pagoda spirit's force from them, then gift it to Lu Muyen, he believed that with that as an exchange, he could obtain a lot of spiritual wine from that little girl. He was also an alcoholic, and just thinking about how he could obtain more spiritual wine from Lu Muyen, his entire person glowed with a strange brilliance. Good, straightforward high five for an agreement. One little emperor killing Wen now, the elder brother of emperor slaughtering heaven. Haha 2 Emperor Feng slaying haha. Chapter 396. Stepping into the 7th floor, Lu Muyen, who was comprehending on the 2nd floor, didn't know about Ao Rong's bet with the several elders. She was currently walking continuously in the dark space on the 2nd floor. When the first scene appeared, she found that the introduction of talismans on the screen had become a demonstration by a talisman master. After remembering the production methods and techniques on the screen, she continued to follow the dark road with no end in sight, only this time, it took twice as long to see the 2nd screen. The time in the space passed little by little, as if 20 years had passed just like that. When the dazzling light at the end appeared, Lu Muyen successfully entered the 3rd floor to comprehend. At this time, there were many people who comprehended to the 2nd floor, but still much slower than her. In this way, she kept walking and viewing in the hidden dark space. Each floor of images showed different things. Later, although it was all talisman masters who were demonstrating, but the difficulty had obviously increased significantly. When she arrived on the 5th floor, during the making of talismans demonstrated by the talisman master in the video, there were even a few rare talismans. On Tianling continent, these refining methods had long been lost and was very precious. With each additional floor, the time it took to find and walk in the dark doubled, or even by tenfold. The content performed in the images were very fast and only appeared once. If one didn't remember it, then they would lose the opportunity to continue to comprehend. Each time, after Lu Muyen watched the images on the screen, she would sit cross-legged and rest while recalling it to comprehend. She had always had a talent for making talismans, and with the accumulations of her past life, she could remember the contents of the video after seeing it only once. In the immortal cultivation world, except for alchemy that was carefully taught by master, she was self-taught in all the other specializations, so it was inevitable that although she was proficient in the skills, but it wasn't comprehensive. After comprehending to the 5th floor of the talisman pagoda, she found that many questions that she couldn't understand before suddenly became clear after watching the video, and many skills were also integrated with the things she had mastered herself with the things in the video, and she benefited a lot. That girl is about to finish the 5th floor. The elder of the talisman pagoda said nervously, staring at the reflection in the crystal ball. At this time, they hoped both that Lu Muyen could walk out of the 5th floor and enter the 6th floor, but also worried that she would go to the 6th floor, because they would lose the pagoda spirit's force that they had worked so hard to accumulate over the past decade. In short, the elders had very contradictory emotions at the time, and they were all watching for her following performances. When the light at the end disappeared, Lu Muyen's lips curled up, so she arrived on the 6th floor. She was really teleported to the 6th floor, and in such a short time. The talisman pagoda's guardian elder said in disbelief. Ao Rong revealed a boastful look. What's the fuss about? The little girl's talent is definitely not only this. Hurry and go and prepare the pagoda spirit's force. Humph, you said before that she needed to comprehend to the 6th floor of the alchemy pagoda, array pagoda, and talisman pagoda. She only reached it in the talisman pagoda right now. The talisman pagoda's elder said. Ao Rong raised an eyebrow. I will do what I say. You think I'll deny it? Just keep your eyes open wide and watch. When Lu Muyen comprehended to the 6th floor, Zi Chaisher entered the 5th floor of the talisman pagoda to comprehend, and Di Shirtian also arrived at the crystal wall of the 5th floor to comprehend. The several elders wouldn't help revealing their joy. It seems that the newly promoted intersect pupils this time aren't bad either. That Di Shirtian is Di Shifeng's blood-related younger brother? The eyes of the elder of the array pagoda lit up. He's indeed the younger brother of Di Shifeng. They're also known as the twin pride of arrays, but the relationship between the brothers is very ordinary. Ao Rong also paid some attention to the D brothers. I wonder if he can also arrive at the 6th floor like his elder brother? The elder of the Array Pagoda appeared expectant. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks Di Shifeng 1 awakened his talent at the age of 3, and Di Shitian only awakened his talent for cultivation when he was 18 years old, but he isn't weak at all. Like Lu Muyan, he was also famous for being trash. Ao Rong was also rather concerned with the two of them. What awakened his talent for cultivation only when he was 18? Then he's achieved what he has in only 4 years? The elder of the Array Pagoda was shocked. If that's the case, isn't he more talented than Di Shifeng too? The elder of the Array Pagoda said. Of course. I actually like these rising stars better. Ao Rong's expression revealed extreme pride. Di Shitian was also brought to this sect by me, and little Lu girl is even more talented than him. What did you mean when you said that Lu girl and Di Shitian were both famous for being trash before? Isn't her talent very strong now? The elder of the Talisman Pagoda asked with interest. Before 16, she was born with the terminal meridian's constitution. Later, by chance, she refined the marrow cleansing pill and eradicated the terminal meridian's constitution. Since then, she's been out of control in cultivation, and it only took 2 years to reach the point where she is today. Ao Rong had investigated Lu Muyan's past in depth. The high-level alchemy master she mentioned didn't exist at all. He guessed that the marrow cleansing pill at that time was refined by this girl herself. What? It only took 2 years. This talent is too heaven-defying. The several elders' eyes widened in shock. In 2 years, she cultivated from a sword novice to a peak phase sword venerable, and she was also highly talented in specializations. Such a genius had basically never appeared on Tianling continent before. No wonder it was rumored that those born with terminal meridians are actually the children abandoned by this world, but they're also the favored children by this world. Once their terminal meridians are eradicated, they will soar into the sky. The elder of the Talisman Pagoda sighed with a mix of emotions. While the several people were sighing, the elder of the Smithing Pagoda suddenly stood up and pointed at the crystal reflection and exclaimed, "Heavens! Look, she's entering the 7th floor." The others also looked over, and happened to see Lu Muyan being teleported to the independent space on the 7th floor. The elder of the Talisman Pagoda was so excited he didn't know what to say. Prodigy. Let's hurry and report this to the sect leader. The elder of the Smithing Pagoda said. Ao Rong raised his hand to stop them. No need to hurry. It won't be too late to report the results of the comprehension of the other pagodas after the Talisman Pagoda. What she is best at is actually not talismans. Then what's she best at? Arrays. Based on what I've seen, she is best at arrays, and in the assessment competition for the inner pupils of the sect, she and Di Shitian both revealed the ability of a grade 5 array master. Ao Rong replied. The elder of the Array Pagoda's eyes widened. Such young grade 5 array masters? Immediately, his old face bloomed into a smile and said, "It seems that there's really no need to report to the sect leader immediately. This old man sure wants to see which floor she can arrive at in the Array Pagoda." The calm gazes of the other elders also revealed some hope in addition to surprise. In the Talisman Pagoda, Lu Muyan didn't rush to begin to comprehend the 7th floor, but instead spent 2 days sitting cross-legged to digest what she had comprehended in the previous 6 floors. When she walked to the 7th floor, Di Shitian also stepped into the 6th floor of the Array Pagoda. 1 Emperor killing Feng XD 2 Emperor Feng Slayer haha. Chapter 397. Alarmed the superiors of the sect after Lu Muyan's mental energy entered the 7th floor space. It was pitch black as usual. She stepped forward, and time passed little by little. In this darkness, she walked aimlessly year after year like a mortal. It took a long time this time. Even with Lu Muyan's temperament, she began to wonder if she was walking in the wrong direction. However, after wondering over and over again, she was still firm in her choice. As long as she didn't arrive at the end, then she would continue to walk. Finally, After as if more than 10 years had passed, a projection suddenly appeared in front of her. In the projection was still a high-level talisman master demonstrating the refining process of talismans, but this time the talismans were even rarer and more precious, and there was even a method of suppressing and refining talismans from demonic souls. After the projection was demonstrated in front of her once, it automatically disappeared into the dark space. Occasionally, confusion appeared in her eyes. She stood silently, pondering, but the time she spent here was 10 times longer than the time she spent on the previous floor. When the confusion in her eyes disappeared, and she gradually understood more and more, she continued to walk forward. Time passed little by little, and she seemed to have walked for hundreds of years before she came to the end of the 7th floor space. Walking nonstop in this space, there was no path ahead, only infinite darkness and loneliness. If it wasn't for the numerous trials she experienced, brushing past death in her previous life, and having the patience from the experience that a single cultivation moment could be a century, she might not be able to persist either. Moreover, walking along and wandering in this dark space was very tempering, and the irritability in her heart was gradually smoothed out. When the dazzling light beam on the 7th floor appeared, Lu Muyen stretched out her hand to block the light. It was just that the power of the space didn't teleport her to the 8th floor this time. Just as she was wondering why, the mechanical voice sounded again in this space. The Pagodas of Enlightenment has 9 floors in total, but the space in the lower interface can only accept the memories of 7 floors. The other 2 floors are in Guangling World, and those who have the chance will naturally encounter it and complete their comprehension. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows. The last 2 floors actually needed her to ascend to Guangling World, to find the Pagodas of Enlightenment to comprehend. But with some thought, she calmed. She had benefited a lot from the inheritance of the first 7 floors. Many things that she barely understood were now all clearly grasped through the demonstration of the projections. Because the last 2 floors didn't exist in the 8 extreme sex Pagodas of Enlightenment, she was teleported out of the Talisman Pagoda. At this time, many people had already been teleported out from the Pagodas of Enlightenment and left, while there were also some people who would go to the other pagodas to continue to comprehend. Next, she walked to the Array Pagoda beside her, and began to comprehend. She actually didn't reach the 8th floor. Ao Rong said with some disappointment. The elder of the Talisman Pagoda glanced at him, then after thinking about it, still told the truth. There's actually no 8th and 9th floors in these 5 pagodas. What? Why not? Ao Rong asked in surprise. These 9-floor pagodas of enlightenment are said to be a saint tool refined by a powerful almighty from Guangling World. The pagodas of enlightenment here at our 8 extreme sect is just a replica, so the top 2 floors are missing. The elder of the alchemy pagoda said. Then where's the real saint tool? How did our sect obtain a replica? Ao Rong asked in curiosity. The elder of the talisman pagoda rolled his eyes at him. The real saint tool is naturally in Guangling World. As long as one has comprehended to the 7th floor in the replicas, I heard they will all have the opportunity to comprehend the final 2 floors eventually. As for why our sect has the replicas, we don't know either. It seems that it's the founding ancestor that brought it back. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, that's sure a pity. Otherwise, with this little girl's comprehension ability, she might really be able to enter the 8th floor. Ao Rong shook his head and sighed. The elder of the alchemy pagoda looked at him speechlessly. Come on, being able to comprehend until the 7th floor is already very impressive. The probability that this little girl will become a grade 7 talisman master in the future is at least 60%. True. If she can ascend to Guangling World in the future, she may even have the opportunity to continue to comprehend the upper 2 floors. Ao Rong said with confidence. The corners of the lips of the elders twitched. She was only at Sword Venerable Cultivation Base, and he was already thinking of her ascending to Guangling World? Dream on. The spiritual force of Tianling continent was very thin, and it was very difficult for one to enter into the highest realm. It had already been numerous years since there have been sword masters who have ascended, and they had long given up hope. They were also not going to argue with Ao Rong. This person had too many grand truths, They can't win him verbally. Di Shirtian one has also entered the 7th floor of the Array Pagoda. The elder of the Array Pagoda said in pleasant surprise. Not bad, not bad. It's worth opening the pagodas of enlightenment to produce these two geniuses. The elder of the Talisman Pagoda said with a smile. One must know that each time the pagodas of enlightenment were opened, the price they paid was very high. Not only did it require millions of spiritual stones, but it also required the joint efforts of the ancestors of the sect to open the restriction before it could be opened. And the minimal interval between the times it opens was not less than 10 years. Originally, the last time it was opened was 3 years ago, so it was reasonable to say that it wouldn't be opened again until after 7 years. But because of the special situation this time, in order to deal with the 6 major sects' grand competition, the several ancestors spent a lot of essence to reopen the pagodas of enlightenment, simply hoping that the newly promoted inner pupils of the 8 extreme sect could obtain higher achievements and more spots for the land of inheritance. So in fact, the 20 people, including Lu Muyen, were lucky to meet such an opportunity this time, otherwise they would have to wait at least 7 or 8 years before being able to come here. But compared to the 2 of them, the others sure are a lot inferior. The elder of the Taming Pagoda sighed. The pupils who had entered the Taming Pagoda before had only entered the 5th floor at the highest, and they had yet to finish. The overall level of the pupils in this session is already pretty good, but they're all rather inconspicuous because of Lu Muyen and Di Shirtian. Those 2 geniuses. Ao Rong said. True. Look, Lu Muyen already entered the 4th floor of the Array Pagoda. Her speed sure is fast. The elder of the Array Pagoda revealed amazement in his eyes. She has every hope of entering the 7th floor of the Array Pagoda. Hopefully. After entering the Array Pagoda, Lu Muyen found that the properties of the several pagodas were actually the same. Because of her first experience and her foundation in arrays was higher than in talismans, so she easily comprehended until the 6th floor. It also took less time after stepping into the 7th floor. When she came out from the 7th floor and walked to the Alchemy Pagoda, the elders in the stone house couldn't remain calm anymore. Lu Muyen has already passed the 7th floor of 2 pagodas. No, this news must be reported. The elder of the Array Pagoda said excitedly. At this time, he had completely forgotten about the bet with Ao Rong. All right, this old man will report immediately to the sect leader. Ao Rong nodded and immediately walked out of the stone house to find the sect leader. The time outside wasn't the same as the time within the space, but a month still passed just like that. The pupils who entered the pagodas of enlightenment together were teleported out one after the other. Among them, the best results were from Di Shirtian, with having arrived at the 7th floor of the Array Pagoda, and the 6th floor of the Smithing Pagoda. Lu Muyen, however, had already finished comprehending the 7th floor of the Alchemy Pagoda, and entered the Smithing Pagoda. At this time, the sect leader also followed a graceful, white-haired middle-aged man with the demeanor of a transcendent being, and a youthful complexion into the secret area. 1 Emperor Slaughterer XD. Chapter 398. Ancestor Yuchan. The several elders guarding the 5 pagodas were stunned when they saw the person in front of the sect leader, and immediately stepped forward to greet them. Greetings, Ancestor. The man said with a gentle smile. No need. He walked to the seat in front of the crystal ball and sat down, then glanced at Lu Muyen, who had just passed to the 7th floor of the Smithing Pagoda. So she's the little girl who has passed through the 7th floor of the Talisman Pagoda, Array Pagoda, and Alchemy Pagoda? The man said slowly. Yes. The elder of the Smithing Pagoda replied. She stayed in the Smithing Pagoda longer than the other 3 pagodas. I originally thought that she would stop at the 6th floor, but I didn't expect her to reach the 7th floor. The several elders had calmed from the shock in varying emotions, composure gradually arriving after disbelief. They had become numb to Lu Muyen's miracles. The man nodded, and no emotion could be seen in his deep eyes, but his gaze didn't leave the crystal reflection for a moment. Half a month later. Ancestor, I have here a pot of spiritual wine brewed by this girl. Would you like a taste? Aorong knew that Ancestor Yuchan might not be as calm as he appeared. To think this incident actually alarmed this unpredictable, mysterious Ancestor Yuchan. He naturally wanted to establish a better image for Lu Girl. Ancestor Yuchan looked at Aorong with a half-smile and said, "Then let's try it." He took the jug that Aorong took out and poured out a glass. The fragrant aroma of wine overflowed in the stone house in an instant. High-quality bloodsack wine. Ancestor Yuchan questioned, took a sip from the cup, then his calm eyes revealed some light. Not bad. Aorong's smile was like a daisy. It wasn't easy for Ancestor Yuchan to say not bad. What, this bloodsack wine was actually brewed by that little girl. The elder of the alchemy pagoda looked at Aorong in surprise. Really? Aorong rolled his eyes at him and said, "Do I dare to deceive Ancestor? What a joke. If he fooled Ancestor Yuchan with spiritual wine brewed by others, he would definitely be miserable. Although this old fellow's appearance had the demeanor of a transcendent being, but if he really wanted to toy with someone, then that person would definitely rather die than live. Aorong, you've done a good job. If such a talented pupil was taken by another sect, then it will definitely be the biggest loss of our 8 Extremes sect." Ancestor Yuchan sipped the spiritual wine, and thought that this fellow, Aorong's eyes, were truly sharp and vicious. Aorong knew that Ancestor Yuchan was complimenting him for doing a good job at digging the walls of the others, and said with a proud smile, "You should have seen the ugly expressions of those old things of the other sects." This old man couldn't resist smiling wide at the time. The several elders couldn't bear to look directly at his face, but they couldn't help but admit that this old fellow was indeed good at digging. Ancestor Yuchan smiled lightly, but his expression was filled with joy. He suddenly began to look forward to seeing, during the 6 major sex competitions, whether those damned old things would be detrimentally angered when they saw Lu Muyan's performance. "Ancestor, it's boring for you to drink alone. Why don't we join you?" The elder of the alchemy pagoda was also a winemaker himself, but his winemaking skills were very poor. However, being an alcoholic, he could only go to the Steam Reflection restaurant to buy their limited spiritual wines. This bloodsack wine hooked up all his cravings. Earlier, Aorong didn't want to take more out to drink no matter what, so now he wanted to drink the wine from Ancestor Yuchan, regardless of his face. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. The several other elders also agreed with a smile, and wanted a share. This is Aorong showing respect to this old one. Wouldn't it be a waste of his thoughts if I gave it to you all to drink? Ancestor Yuchan glanced at the several people lightly. These old things wanted to share a drink, no way. As an ancestor of the 8 Extreme sect, he could naturally drink spiritual wine all year round, but such sweet and pure bloodsack wine was very rare. It was just a pity that its level was still a little low. If it was one level higher, then it would definitely be beneficial to his cultivation. Aorong, bring out another jug of wine, and I'll exchange it with you for grade 5 pills. The elder of the alchemy pagoda smacked his lips and said. Aorong shrugged helplessly. The last jug was just given to Ancestor. When little Lu girl comes out later, you can go exchange it with her. This wasn't a lie. Lu Muyan gave him more than a dozen jugs of wine, but now he only had 2 jugs left. This time, he had contributed it all after coming to this secret area. And his heart also ached. It was just that he could use this reason to get more spiritual wine from Lu Muyan in the future. Then do you have any other spiritual wines? The elder of the alchemy pagoda asked, unwilling to give up. Although he wanted to drink bloodsack wine, but he didn't dare snatch food from a tiger. From Ancestor Yuchan. Aorong thought about it, then took out 2 jugs of honey spiritual fruit wine and said, "This is honey wine Lu girl gave. It said that it could be used to beautify and nourish one's appearance, so I just kept it and didn't drink it." When he heard the words beautify and nourish appearance, he had no interest in this honey wine. Why did he, an old rough man, need to take care of his appearance for? The several elders couldn't help but twitch the corners of their lips after hearing it was to take care of one's appearance. They, as old bones, didn't need such effects, but it was better to have spiritual wine than not, so the elder of the alchemy pagoda picked up a jug and poured a cup. As soon as the wine was poured into the cup, The yellow transparent liquid was extremely pure, and the scent of wine instantly overflowed, even carrying a sweet fragrance. Ancestor Yu Chan's eyes deepened, and he put away the blood sack wine, picked up the honey wine and poured a cup for himself. After taking a sip, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. This actually turned out to be spiritual wine brewed from century-old scarlet bee honey and numerous different types of spiritual fruits. Not bad. The elder of the alchemy pagoda hurriedly took a sip from his wine cup. Then he appeared as if he was drunk in happiness. Good wine, good wine. This wine is of a higher grade than the blood sack wine, and the century-old scarlet bee honey is good for improving our cultivation base. If we drink it regularly, we can even live longer. Seeing that the elder of the alchemy pagoda was so enchanted, the other elders and Ao Rong each poured a cup to drink. Then their eyes all lit up. After drinking a cup, Ao Rong immediately reached out to put away the remaining jug of honey wine, but Ancestor Yu Chan was a step ahead and put it away himself. This old man is very interested in the effect of this beauty-enhancing wine. This jug of wine belongs to me. Ao Rong regretted until his intestines were green. He always just thought that this spiritual wine was for women, yet who knew that it could also prolong life and improve his cultivation base. If he had known it before, he wouldn't have taken it out. Ao Rong, bring out 2 more jugs, don't be so stingy. The elder of the alchemy pagoda saw that the remaining jug of wine was taken by Ancestor Yu Chan, so he didn't dare ask for it, and could only speak to Ao Rong. Ao Rong rolled his eyes at him angrily. No more. I only took 2 jugs when Lu Girl said it could beautify one's appearance. He was also very regretful right now. If he had known earlier, he would have asked for a few more jugs. No wonder he heard that that female tyrant dragon took good care of Lu Muyen. It was probably because she could drink this honey wine every day. Hearing him say that, the other elders looked at him as if he had wasted something exceptionally precious. As if he was stupid. Enough now. If you want to drink wine, just wait for that little girl to come out, and you can go exchange with her. With interest, Ancestor Yu Chan watched Lu Muyen come out of the smithing pagoda, turn, then walk into the taming pagoda. Chapter 399. Extraordinary talent. The attention of the several elders and Ao Rong also turned to Lu Muyen, who started to comprehend after entering the taming pagoda. This, the elder of the taming pagoda asked in extreme surprise. Is this girl also a spirit beast master? Of course, she's not only a spirit beast master, but her level isn't low either. Ao Rong raised his chin proudly. The weakest of her spirit pets are still initial phase tier 8 cultivation base, and she even raised and contracted a Scarlet Bee Empress. Lu Muyen didn't want to expose the Scarlet Bee Empress at first, but when Qi Huang ran out onto the battle platform that day itself, it still attracted the attention of Ao Rong and the others. However, apart from being shocked, they didn't have any thoughts of coveting it. Even the headmaster of the Tamers School was also only a little envious. Although the 8 Extreme sect was at the bottom of the 6 major sects, and there would often be conflicts between pupils, but relatively speaking, the sect still had a rather positive atmosphere. Killing people and stealing treasures rarely occurred, and they were very united in the face of other opponents. What Scarlet Bee Empress? The elder of the taming pagoda exclaimed and stood up. Only them, spirit beast masters, knew the value of the Scarlet Bee Empress. Where did she find the Scarlet Bee Empress? The Scarlet Bee Empress isn't so easy to contract. Even a tier 6 spiritual beast master can't contract a Scarlet Bee Empress. How'd she do it? Ao Rong remembered that Lu Muyen had attracted a large group of scarlet bees in the competition space, then said with a smile. She found it in the Tianling Continental Tournament for Hegemony competition space. At the time, she even attracted a large swarm of scarlet bees to attack her. In the end, an array was activated to block them all outside. She contracted with a newly born Scarlet Bee Empress? Ancestor Yu Chan gently rubbed the wine cup with his fingers. Should be. She released the Empress during the battle with Yin Hong. I think it's only at its infancy. Ao Rong nodded. No wonder she could use century-old Scarlet Bee honey to make spiritual wine. If the Scarlet Bee Empress grows up, she wouldn't be short of honey. Ancestor Yuchan chuckled, looking at Lu Muyen with more admiration in his heart. It's good to contract a Scarlet Bee Empress. We can also go and exchange for some honey wine. The elder of the Array Pagoda said with a smile. Who knew that our sect picked up such a treasure this time? Ancestor Yuchan's lips melted into an arc. This little girl's talent sure was amazing. Even compared to that ancestor that once ascended, she wasn't outmatched. The sect lacks such a genius right now. If she could also comprehend the taming pagoda to the 7th floor, then he was bound to go and alarm the elder ancestor. When Lu Muyen was comprehending in the taming pagoda, she didn't expect that she would attract the ancestor of the 8 Extremes sect. She learnt the ancient contract skill, so she actually didn't know much about the contracting method of a spirit beast master, and so she comprehended slower this time. It took more than 10 days to comprehend to the 5th floor, but although she took a while, the harvest was huge. The introduction in the taming pagoda basically covered all the demonic beasts on this continent, and their characteristics. Many rare and special demonic beast species also had separate contract methods. There was also the breeding method of the Scarlet Bee Empress in the taming pagoda, which was not only more detailed than the secret classic given by Yi Qing Han, but also described many secret breeding methods. Each time she watched the projections that appeared again and again, she was like a sponge that madly absorbed and comprehended those secret classics on taming beasts, and didn't realize that it was almost 2 months. When she walked out of the 6th floor and teleported to the 7th floor, it was only 3 days away from 2 months. Heavens! This little girl isn't a human at all. The elder of the Alchemy Pagoda couldn't help but sigh when he saw that Lu Muyen had actually stepped into the 7th floor of the Taming Pagoda. Ao Rong glared at him. You're not human, this little girl is called having heaven-defying talent. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, I think she's more a little devil. The elder of the Talisman Pagoda murmured. Although they were completely numb to Lu Muyen's talent, but a person who's able to comprehend to the 7th level on all 5 specialization pagodas hadn't appeared in the sect at all. She was definitely the first. This Lu girl is indeed devilishly talented. Ao Rong actually also felt that Lu Muyen wasn't an ordinary person. It was very difficult for others to learn a single specialization, until its essence. Not only did she know all 5 specializations, but could also perceive it to this level. Neither he nor the elders dared to imagine the sensation it would cause when Lu Muyen became a grade 7 talisman master, a grade 7 alchemist, a grade 7 array master, a grade 7 smith, and a grade 7 spirit beast master. Ancestor Yuchan had an obscure look, and swept the people present with eyes of warning. His tone had a rare sharpness to it. Lu Muyen being able to comprehend to the 7th floor of all 5 specialization pagodas of enlightenment is not allowed to be spread. The several people were shocked by the pressure of Ancestor Yuchan, and immediately said respectfully, "We will follow your orders. Ancestor, it's our sect's fortune that Lu Muyen has such talent, why not spread it?" After a while, the elder of the Array Pagoda couldn't help asking. Ancestor Yuchan sat calm and still like an old monk, and the invisible pressure made the elders extremely intimidated. After a moment of silence he said, "If the other 5 sects and other top forces on the continent knew about Lu Muyen's heaven-defying talent, this old man is afraid that scheming people will start planning assassinations to stifle her in the cradle of growth. The sect finally has a rising new star. This old man will definitely not allow her to be lost because of the exposure of her talent." Ao Rong and the several elders were stunned for a while, and they also reflected the worries of the ancestor. This kind of thing had also happened to the other sects. Carefulness can help the ship sail for 10,000 years. Now really wasn't the time to publicize it. We will take ancestors' concerns seriously. I heard that Qixio, the #1 person of the inner sect of Heavenly Secret Palace, had also suffered countless assassination attempts and sneak attacks after he revealed his heaven-defying talent. Ao Rong sighed and restrained his previous joy. Fortune lie in misfortune, and misfortune depends on fortune. Having heaven-defying talent wasn't only creation's gift, but it could also bring her the calamity of death. Qi Xiu? Is he the genius who won the championship in all competitions of the last 6 major sects grand competition? Ancestor Yuchan had also heard of Qi Xiu. Indeed. He not only won first place in the 5 specializations, but he was also the strongest among the 6 major sects inner pupils of that session. Ao Rong mentioned Qi Xiu with admiration. I wonder who's better, Lu girl or him? Should be the same in talent. Ancestor Yuchan said. As long as we give Lu girl room to grow, I think she will never be worse than Heavenly Secret Palace's Qi Xiu. Ao Rong still had this confidence. Ancestor Yuchan nodded. With the heaven-defying talent Lu girl revealed, the sect will naturally raise her vigorously. 3 days later, Lu Muyen, who was still comprehending in the Taming Pagoda, suddenly heard the mechanical sound coming from the pagoda. 2 months have arrived. She opened her eyes in contemplation, looked at the end of the darkness ahead of her, and sighed. Just a little bit more. Ancestor Yuchan and the others naturally knew that the time was up, but Lu Muyen still had a short way to go. Ancestor, do you think you can give her a few more days? Ao Rong asked anxiously to Ancestor Yuchan, seeing that the journey was very short. Ancestor Yuchan pondered for a moment, then sent a ball of light with bountiful elemental energy from his sleeve, and the ball of light instantly penetrated through the stone house into the Taming Pagoda. Forget it, give her another 5 days. It can also be regarded as a blessing from this old man. Chapter 400. Ancestors are used for extorting. Just as Lu Muyen was waiting to be teleported out with regret, the mechanical voice sounded again. Activated for 5 days. After 5 days, no matter whether you pass or not, the Taming Pagoda will teleport you out. Lu Muyen's eyes lit up. It seemed that someone helped her. She didn't waste time thinking about it either, and immediately embarked on the final dark path. 5 days later, when Lu Muyen came to the end and was enveloped by the dazzling white light, the activation time had just come to an end, and she was teleported out of the Taming Pagoda. Actually just enough, this girl sure can count the time. Ao Rong was overjoyed when he saw that Lu Muyen had finally finished the 7th floor of the Taming Pagoda. Elder Yuchan also had a smile on his face. Call her over for me to see. Yes. Ao Rong replied, then strode out of the stone house and walked towards Lu Muyen. At the same time, on a floating island in the inner sect, a proud and aloof man stood with his back facing 2 inner sect pupils. You mean that among the people who entered the pagodas of enlightenment, there is still one person who hasn't come out yet? His voice was cold and chill. Yes. This time, the pagodas of enlightenment have only been open for 2 months, and it has now been more than 5 days since. For some reason, that person hasn't come out yet. The inner sect pupil said respectfully. What's her name? The man standing with his back towards them said. Her name is Lu Muyen, a pupil brought back by Elder Ao Rong from the Tianling Continental Tournament for Hegemony. One person replied. Lu Muyen. The man whispered, then after a while he instructed. Bring me a copy of all her files and information. Yes. Such questions appeared on 4 other floating islands at the same time, and the pupils in the sect who participated in the pagodas of enlightenment were all kept informed of Lu Muyen's news. Di Shirtian comprehended in the secret area for a month and 10 days, attracting the attention of many strong pupils of the inner sect. Now that Lu Muyen hadn't come out for not only 2 months, but also an extra 5 days, it made many people very confused. Inside the secret area of the pagodas of enlightenment, Ao Rong brought Lu Muyen to the stone house and immediately reminded, "This is Ancestor Yuchan from our 8 Extreme sect." When Lu Muyen entered the door, she found that the man who sat on the main seat revealed a dignified temperament and a youthful face. The man appeared only around 30 years old, but he carried a feeling of having experienced the vicissitudes of life. The aura exuded from the man was the strongest among the people she had ever seen. Lu Muyen pays respects to Ancestor Yuchan. Lu Muyen respectfully greeted to Ancestor Yuchan. Although Ancestor Yuchan used an aura straining skill, but she dared to conclude that this person was definitely a sword deity powerhouse. No need. Ancestor Yuchan had a gentle expression and said with a light smile, "Little girl, you've comprehended until the 7th floor of all 5 pagodas of enlightenment? Yes. You're very good." Ancestor Yuchan's voice came out slowly with a bit of ethereal spirit. Lu Muyan's expression didn't change, and she accepted this compliment humbly. "Thank Ancestor for your praise." Ancestor Yuchan's eyes gleamed with interest. This little girl wasn't very old, but she had a very mature way of doing things. In particular, this disposition of neither honor nor disgrace made him like and appreciate her a little more. In fact, there was no shortage of talents in this world, but talent alone may not be able to go far. A firm belief and a temperament that was neither arrogant nor impetuous was also key. And the little girl in front of him gave him a feeling that this woman was extraordinary. She would definitely become a strong one in the future. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, I have ordered them not to publicize the matter of you comprehending until the 7th floor of all 5 pagodas of enlightenment. When you return, you should also not speak of it. Ancestor Yuchan said with a meaningful smile, and there was also a hint of testing her. Lu Muyan nodded with a smile. "Thank you, Ancestor. I also don't want to publicize this." She understood the kindness of Ancestor Yuchan. If the news that she comprehended until the 7th floor of all 5 pagodas of enlightenment spread, it would definitely be unfavorable to her. And there may even be some people who didn't want her to participate in the grand competition of the 6 major sects. Haha, you really are an understanding person. You have such a bearing at such a young age. You will definitely be extraordinary in the future. Ancestor Yuchan liked Lu Muyan even more upon seeing the wisdom she displayed. This girl understood immediately, she was a good seedling. Most importantly, such a composed and indifferent attitude was really rare. If it were another talented pupil, they would probably have already gone to spread the news even without others doing it. Lu Muyan smiled and didn't answer. In fact, she always liked to be low profile, but many times, things would backfire and she had to act in a high-profile manner. If people who knew Lu Muyan knew what she was thinking now, they would probably be twitching the corners of their lips and look up into the sky speechlessly. If she was at all related to the word low profile, then there weren't any low-profile people in this world anymore. "Are you also a spiritual wine master?" Ancestor Yuchan asked with a kind smile. Lu Muyan actually smelled the spiritual wine she had brewed as soon as she entered the stone house. Although it had been a while, but it couldn't escape her currently very sensitive sense of smell. I just advanced to a grade 5 spiritual wine master." Lu Muyan answered truthfully. After she came to the sect, she spent most of her time either completing missions or refining talismans, so she didn't improve much in brewing wine. Ao Rong and the several elders all gasped when they heard her answers. This girl was simply heaven-defying. Spiritual wine masters were different to those who focused in the 5 specializations. The premise was that they not only had to know alchemy, but they also had to have the talent to brew wine, and have wine recipes to be able to advance. The cost was no less than that for alchemy and smithing. Most importantly, there were very few spiritual wine masters on the entire Tianling continent, and high-grade ones were even rarer. Any grade 5 spiritual wine master who stepped out would definitely become the object that all major forces vie for. And how old was she only? If those enshrined grade 4 or 5 spiritual wine masters of the Stream Reflection restaurant knew her existence, then wouldn't they be ashamed to death? Is there still room for improvement? Ancestor Yuchan tapped the armrest with his finger, revealing that he wasn't calm at this time. Spiritual wine master was the most difficult profession to advance in among all specializations, and was also the profession that was most popular among sword masters. They were even more respected than high-level alchemists. He didn't expect that this little girl had already reached grade 5. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't surprised. Now he not only regarded Lu Muyan as a treasure, but he even felt better about Ao Rong. There is. But I don't have any high-level spiritual herbs or spiritual fruits on me to improve. Lu Muyan blinked and sighed. Seeing her pitiful appearance, Ao Rong's eyelids couldn't help but twitch wildly. This damned girl sure was bold. She even actually wanted to extort from the sect's ancestor. Did she want to be so stimulating? He was old now, his heart wasn't as healthy anymore. The other elders naturally heard the hidden meaning in her words. I don't have the high-level spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits to improve. How about ancestor give me some? The several people couldn't help but shudder. This little girl sure was bold. If it were another pupil, they would definitely point to the sky and swear that they would work hard to improve. How would it be possible for them to mention spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits? But the moment she heard ancestor ask, she wanted to extort. This was definitely not something they, mortals, could understand. Haha. Ancestor Yuchan laughed heartily, with a bit of sharpness in his eyes. Little girl, you sure are bold. How did I provoke ancestor? Lu Muyan looked at Ao Rong innocently and asked, blinking. How could these old fellows want to drink spiritual wine without bleeding a little? Humph, so what if he's an ancestor? Ancestors represented power and wealth. So what were ancestors used for? Of course they were for extorting. Chapter 401. Foresight. Ao Rong heard Lu Muyan's question, then saw her wink at him and almost vomited blood. Could he pretend to faint right now? Haha. How could you have offended ancestor? Ao Rong said with a fake smile. Ancestor can't even begin to like you enough. How could he blame you? He really didn't expect this damn girl to be so bold, and wanted to even extort ancestor Yuchan, and even drag him into it. Little Lu girl, do you want high-level spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits from me? Ancestor Yuchan looked at her in amusement and asked. It was the first time in so many years that he had met such a bold pupil within the sect. He thought it was very interesting. No. How dare I ask ancestor for something? Lu Muyan smiled sweetly. Then the thread of discussion changed and she said regretfully. I originally wanted to brew some more high-level spiritual wine to honor ancestor, but it's a pity that even a clever wife wouldn't be able to cook without rice, so I have to wait until I find some high-level spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits to brew it. Ao Rong and the several elders twitched the corners of their lips. This move of advancing by retreating sure was well played. All right, you can stop acting in front of me. If you want some high-level spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits, just write it down and this old man will find it for you. Ancestor Yuchan looked at her with a half-smile and said, but this old man wants to drink the spiritual wine brewed from millennium-old royal jelly. I believe you can do it right, little girl? Ao Rong and the several elders just knew that ancestor Yuchan wasn't so easy to fool, but he sure could open his mouth to ask for millennium-old royal jelly. However, the several people also watched the conversation between the two with great interest. The calculative fight between a little fox and a smiling tiger sure was entertaining. Lu Muyan blinked then smiled innocently. How dare I deceive ancestor? No problem. In order to honor ancestor, I will definitely obtain millennium-old royal jelly. She didn't hide the purpose of extorting ancestor Yuchan. The more scheming she was in front of these old fellows, it would actually cause more disgust. So she understood when was enough and expressed her thoughts so far. All right. This old man will wait for your honey wine. Ancestor Yuchan smiled merrily, then immediately curbed his smile and said seriously. But for now, don't waste your energy on these things and just prepare well for the 6 major sects grand competition. Pupil obeys. Lu Muyan replied. Then she used her mental energy to print a list of spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits on a jade slip and handed it to Ancestor Yuchan. Do you still have any blood sac wine and honey wine on you? Ancestor Yuchan asked. Lu Muyan consciously took out more than 10 jugs of spiritual wine from her interspatial ring and said, I brewed this wine a while back. If ancestor likes it, then please take it to drink. Ancestor Yuchan liked this kind of clever and understanding pupil. He put away the spiritual wine in front of him. Then with a flick of his finger, he gifted a peak-quality saint treasure to Lu Muyan. This saint treasure can be considered a meeting gift to you. You can take it. Lu Muyan grabbed the stream of light in front of her, then put it away without being formal. Thank ancestor for your reward. It would be a waste not to take it. And what Ancestor Yuchan gifted was a defense-type Saint Treasure armor, which was still rather useful and precious to her right now. Use the next month to improve your strength. Ancestor Yuchan smiled, and his figure gradually faded and disappeared in the stone house. Lu Muyan's eyes were filled with surprise. The person just now was actually a clone. He sure deserved to be a sword deity level powerhouse. The secret method used was so flawless. You damned girl want to scare people to death. Ao Rong glared at Lu Muyan angrily after Ancestor Yuchan left. To even extort the smiling tiger Ancestor Yuchan, you're so bold. Even if I want to extort you, do you have spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits for me? Lu Muyan teased. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Ao Rong chalked. He was a smith, so he naturally didn't have many spiritual herbs or spiritual fruits. None. Then that's that. Isn't an ancestor used for extorting? Who else could he blame when he's rolling in money? Any crack in his finger will leak a treasure. Lu Muyan smiled mischievously. That's true as expected, little girl. You have foresight. Ao Rong nodded in agreement. Should he also learn from this damned girl to extort when he meets those people in the future? The elders of the 5 pagodas twitched the corners of their lips with fine sweat on their foreheads. Was it really all right for these 2 people to say such outrageous words in front of them? Why did they also think it made sense though? Little Lu girl, am the guardian elder of the Alchemy Pagoda. The elder of the Alchemy Pagoda leaned in front of Lu Muyan with a smile and asked, how about you exchange some blood sack wine and honey wine with me? Lu Muyan knew that these old fellows were also very rich. So since they sent themselves to her door, then she supposes she could extort them. Either way, there were still a lot of spiritual wine she brewed, and the resources used were all self-produced and sold, so it basically didn't cost much spiritual stones. Sure. But I wonder what elders will use to exchange. How about a grade 4 pill? The elder of the Alchemy Pagoda asked. A grade 4 pill still had great use to Lu Muyan, so he believed she would probably agree. Lu Muyan laughed dryly and said, Elder, I also have grade 4 pills. How about turning them into spiritual stones? You lack spiritual stones? Ao Rong remembered that last time. This damned girl only just sold more than 100,000 spiritual stones worth of pills and magic tools, but now she's screaming poor. Lu Muyan nodded. I lack everything, especially spiritual stones and contribution points. I lack the most. The several elders held their foreheads, secretly thinking that this girl and Ao Rong sure were the same type of people, both liking to take advantage of what's given to them. The sex contribution points can't be given to you from us, so let's exchange with spiritual stones. In the sect, not only did the pupils need to spend contribution points to cultivate, but the elders also needed to spend contribution points, but they were different, so they couldn't be transferred onto each other's identity jade tablets. Lu Muyan also wasn't polite and accepted the spiritual stones from them, then took out quite a bit of spiritual wine to exchange. She now terribly lacked spiritual stones. In the Taming Pagoda, she saw a record in a secret classic that if she wanted to quickly cultivate a swarm of scarlet bees, then using spiritual stones to raise them was the best. After exchanging with the several elders, Ao Rong sent Lu Muyan out from the secret area, and had the cheek to want a lot of spiritual wine from her. But when they parted, Ao Rong stuffed her with 5 small, different colored balls sealed by elemental energy. This is the Pagodas of Enlightenment's Pagoda Spirit's force. You can take it back to refine it, and it would be of great benefit to you. Lu Muyan also vaguely guessed the wondrous effect of the Pagoda Spirit's force, so she said with some gratitude, Thank you, Elder Ao, for your trouble. Although she was dug over by Ao Rong to the 8 Extreme sect, but she was willing, so he didn't know her anything. However, he still took really good care of her and protected her, so she remembered this favor in her heart. Why are you so polite to me, girl? Ao Rong said with a smile. Just give me a few more jugs of spiritual wine that you brew in the future. All right. Afterwards, Ao Rong teleported Lu Muyan to the outside of the sect. After wandering around for a day, he brought her back to the sect and also deliberately let many pupils see it. It was told to the public that Lu Muyan had comprehended for a month, then followed Elder Ao Rong out to do a mission. This was in fact also done for the spies hidden in the sect. There were still a small number of people who didn't believe this statement, and Di Tian was one of them. Chapter 402. Heavy water news. After Lu Muyan returned to the inner courtyard, she was arranged by a supervisor to choose an independent courtyard. After she picked up Bingji and the other spirit pets, she arranged a grade 5 attack and defense array around the courtyard. How was your comprehension? Mo Yen asked lazily, jumping onto a piece of soft beast skin. Lu Muyan took out the 5 pagoda spirits force to play with. I've comprehended to the 7th floor of the 5 pagodas, but for the 8th and 9th floors, I need to go to Guangling World to have the opportunity to comprehend. I'm not that familiar with the human realm, and don't know where the pagodas of enlightenment are. Mo Yen thought for a while and said, I think you've received a lot of benefits to have comprehended to the 7th floor, right? I've gained a lot. I should be considered an expert of sorts in all 5 specializations now. Lu Muyan nodded. Then she looked at Bingji, who was preening his feathers, and said, You've broken through? If Bingji could break through to Tier 9, then she would be a bit more confident when they go to participate in the taming competition of the 6 major sects grand competition. I can already feel the bottleneck, and I think I should be able to break through it within 10 days. Bingji raised his head, a little tsundere. Lu Muyan rolled her eyes. How slow? Mo Yan's already at Tier 9, you haven't even broken through yet. What? Boss Mo's already broken through to Tier 9? When did that happen? Bingji asked in surprise, sticking his beak out of his features. Meow Meow and Shui looked at Mo Yan with confusion. Why didn't they know that Boss Missouri had advanced? Boss Missouri, don't tell us that when you went out for 3 days last month, you went to hide to advance? Bingji suddenly remembered that Mo Yan went out for a few days last month. Mo Yan glanced at him casually, then spit out 2 words. Of course. Then why can't we feel the pressure of a Tier 9? Meow Meow asked. Whether it was a Tier 9 demonic beast or a sword saint cultivation-based sword master, even if they retrained their aura, people could still judge that their cultivation base was very high. But Mo Yan's aura was only just like a Tier 7. Mo Yan's a demon king of a portion of the demon realm, so he naturally knows the aura restraining skill. It's normal for you lot to not feel it. Lu Muyan said, leaning her chin on her hand. Each time Mo Yan made a breakthrough, he always quietly left for a period of time to advance before returning, and was very mysterious. Mighty Boss Missouri. Bingji felt bitter inwardly. He wanted to advance quickly, but his mouth just flattered. Embarrassing. Meow Meow said contemptuously. Shui Shui had a look as if to say he didn't know him. Sycophant. All right now, you should all hurry up to improve your strength for now. Next month's Sex Grand Competition. I still want to count on you all to win the championship of the taming competition. Lu Muyan was very interested in obtaining the championship of the 5 specializations. It wasn't because she wanted to be high profile, but the champion could obtain an abundance of rewards. If the superiors of the sect knew that her purpose for having her spirit beasts quickly advance to obtain the championship was for the rewards, would they vomit blood? In order to improve the strength of her several demonic beasts, and also to practice her alchemy skills, she spent several days refining several batches of grade 5 pills. 5 days later, she exited her courtyard. Unlike the independent courtyard in the outer sect, the spiritual energy here was more than twice as abundant as the outer courtyards. There were courtyards at intervals around hers, either the courtyards of newly promoted inner pupils, or the courtyards of old inner pupils. There was also another difference between the inner sect and the outer sect. When entering the outer sect, there would be a brief introduction of the sect through a jade slip, and she at least knew what places were for what. But after entering the inner sect, there was nothing, so she could only explore by herself. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. She thought about visiting Zi Cheisher's courtyard in order to inquire about news. When Lu Muyan arrived, Zi Cheisher was drinking wine and exchanging cultivation experience with Di Tian and Yin Hong. Junior sister Lu, why are you here? As soon as Zi Cheisher received Lu Muyan's communication talisman, he quickly opened the array in the courtyard to let her in. Lu Muyan walked into the courtyard and saw two people sitting in a pavilion not far away. She smiled lightly and said, I originally wanted to ask senior brother about the inner sect, but if it's inconvenient for senior brother, I can come back another day. What's inconvenient? It just so happens that Di Shirtian and Yin Hong are also here. They're more familiar with the inner sect than me. Let's have a cup of tea together. Zichaisher invited with a smile. When they were chatting just now, they mentioned the situation of Lu Muyan having comprehended in the pagodas of enlightenment for more than 2 months, and was also curious about to which degree she had comprehended. Sure. Then excuse me. Hello senior brother D, senior brother Yin. Lu Muyan walked into the pavilion, found an empty seat, sat down and greeted the two with a smile. Yin Hong said with a smile, Junior sister Lu sure is a rare visitor. There was also a smile on Di Shirtian's wild and handsome face. Junior sister Lu, how have you been? Zichaisher poured a cup of tea for Lu Muyan and jokingly said, Junior sister, you're famous in the inner sect. What's wrong? Lu Muyan had a guess, but a look of surprise appeared on her face at just the right moment. Many pupils know about the fact that you've been in the secret area's pagodas of enlightenment for more than 2 months. Now they're rare people who are specifically investigating you. Di Shirtian asked with a hint of testing. Lu Muyan shook the teacup and said helplessly, How is it that I've been comprehending in the pagodas of enlightenment for 2 months? I was called by Elder Ao Rong to go do labor. Hearing her say this, the expressions in the eyes of the three were different. It was obvious that she didn't want to say any more, so they didn't inquire any more. No matter what the truth was, it could be seen that Lu Muyan was highly favored by the superiors of the sect. One must know that Elder Ao Rong's position in the sect was actually higher than the sect leader. With such preferential treatment towards Lu Muyan, there were very few people who dared to provoke her in the inner sect. What news does junior sister want to inquire about the inner sect? Zichaisher asked. Am not familiar with the inner sect at all. Is there a place that sells maps or introductions to the sect? Lu Muyan just felt that the situation of the inner sect shouldn't be so secretive. Of course there is. You can use contribution points for exchange it. Yin Hong said. He discovered that this little junior sister was very talented, but she was like a loner in the sect, basically either doing missions outside or staying inside. I have a scroll of a general introduction to the inner sect. If junior sister doesn't dislike it, then you can take it to use. Di Shirtian handed a jade slip to Lu Muyan. Thank you. Lu Muyan took the jade slip and browsed it. She had a general understanding of the inner sect now. Seeing her put the jade slip down, Zichaisher asked, Does junior sister want to go somewhere? I want to go to the sect's contribution points management office to exchange something. Do you have a brief introduction of the exchanges? The purpose of her coming out today was to exchange for heavy water, then refine a water attribute natal magic tool. I don't. The inner sect's contribution points manual can only be found at the management office and can't be carried privately. Di Shirtian thought about it, then asked, Does junior sister want to exchange something? I'm fairly familiar with the contribution points manual items. Then does senior brother D know whether there's heavy water for exchange on the contribution points manual? Heavy water? Di Shirtian was surprised, then after a moment of silence said, I remember that there's indeed heavy water that can be exchanged in the contribution points manual, but the value is extremely high, so it hasn't been exchanged for in very long. Lu Muyan's heart dropped and asked, furrowing her brows, How much sect contribution points does it take to exchange heavy water? Chapter 403. Elemental Underground Palaces. Di Shirtian and the others all knew the value of heavy water, but they didn't expect Lu Muyan to be interested in it. Seeing her appearance, she should want to exchange for it with contribution points. 200,000 contribution points. Di Shirtian stretched out 2 fingers and gestured. Lu Muyan's lips twitched. She originally guessed that heavy water was very valuable and would require a lot of contribution points, but she didn't expect that the 100,000 contribution points she obtained from killing Shen Mufeng wasn't even enough. It seemed that the sect was very against completing wanted missions. It actually costs 200,000, isn't that a rip-off? Lu Muyen sighed. Junior sister, heavy water is one of the excellent auxiliary materials for refining water attribute magic tools, and it also requires a high-level sword master to have comprehended the water attribute element to perfection realm, so it's naturally expensive. Zichesher said with amusement. There's not one of the top-ranked spiritual items in the contribution points handbook that's not expensive. 200,000 for heavy water isn't actually even in the top 50. Di Shirtian added. Lu Muyen looked down at the tea that had cleared, then asked after a while. How can I earn sect contribution points faster? Completing missions? Junior sister, next month will be the grand competition of the 6 major sects. You should focus more on your cultivation for now. Zichesher couldn't help reminding. Lu Muyen shrugged, her tone rather helpless. I also want to focus more on my cultivation, but heavy water is also very important to me, and it's also a means of preparation for me to participate in the 6 major sects grand competition. Most pupils who accumulate contribution points in the inner sect will choose to do missions, but that takes a long time. I don't think you'd be able to earn another 100,000 contribution points in a month. Lu Muyen's contribution points of more than 100,000 could rank first in the outer sect contribution points ranking, which they all knew. Is there any shortcut to earn 100,000 contribution points in a month? Lu Muyen asked with some vexation. If she could refine that water attribute natal magic tool, then she would be able to trigger a very powerful sword array during the actual competition. The 3 of them couldn't help rolling their eyes inwardly when they heard her question. They also wanted to know the shortcut to earn 100,000 contribution points in 1 month. How can contribution points be that easy to earn? Yin Hong said without a good attitude. Instead of using contribution points you have to exchange for heavy water. It's better to go to the elemental underground palaces to cultivate and improve your strength as soon as possible. Elemental underground palaces. Lu Muyen expressed that she didn't know this place. The 3 were completely speechless. This woman didn't even know the elemental underground palace. Just how did she enter the inner sect? The elemental underground palaces are very powerful cultivation places in the inner sect. Each underground palace represents different elemental attributes. The underground palaces are also divided into several floors. The elements on each floor all have gravity. Entering into it to cultivate will stimulate the body to comprehend the elemental attribute, and cultivating in it will double the result with half the effort. Di Shirtian replied. Based on what you said, then the elemental underground palaces in the inner sect are a good place. Lu Muyen took a sip of tea, her eyes filled with interest. That's natural. The most famous of the 8 extreme sect is actually the elemental underground palaces. Many inner sect pupils crazily earn contribution points just to enter to cultivate. Yin Hong said. It should cost a lot to enter the elemental underground palaces to cultivate, right? Such a good place must be expensive, she guessed. Of course, but as long as you go in and cultivate, you'll find that no matter how much contribution points you spend, it's worth it. Di Shirtian paused, then said. The elemental underground palaces have 10 chambers. Each chamber's price is different. The first chamber is the cheapest, but it also requires 200 contribution points per day, and the contribution points in the next chamber increases by folds. So high. Then wouldn't the 10th chamber cost more than 100,000 contribution points a day? Lu Muyen's expression couldn't help but change. This was more expensive than the floating islands. Yin Hong said with a smile. The 10th chamber does cost more than 100,000 contribution points, but none of the pupils of the entire sect has yet stepped into the 8th chamber of the elemental underground palaces. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Hearing him say that, Lu Muyen fell into thought, then asked after a while. Are there other ways to earn contribution points in the sect besides taking missions? No matter what, she had to refine the water attribute natal magic tool before going to the grand competition of the 6 major sects. In addition to completing missions, I do indeed know a quick way of earning contribution points. Di Shirtian pondered, then raised his eyes. Lu Muyan's eyes lit up and asked, "What method?" "Use high-level things to exchange for contribution points in the Contribution Points Management Office, such as pills, talismans, arrays and magic tools grade 4 or above. High-level spiritual items of heaven and earth are fine too," Di Tian said. Ziche Shi and Yin Hong also knew about this, but the pupils usually exchanged contribution points for these things. Under normal circumstances, few people would use this method to earn contribution points. The sect sure can do business. Lu Muyan chuckled. This method was feasible. Are there any other methods? Can the pupils exchange contribution points with each other? Seeing her eyes filled with interest, the eyelids of the three twitched. Inner sect pupils can exchange contribution points with each other. Yin Hong thought for a moment then replied, "There's also another way to quickly obtain contribution points, and that's to challenge in the challenge field. You can bet and also challenge. Those that have a winning streak can win the challenge field's rewards and contribution points." Challenge field? The sect has such a place? Lu Muyan asked with great interest. The challenge field was established by the pupils in the sect. The place is very bloody, but it's also filled with huge profits. Some pupils could become rich overnight, while some pupils also lose everything. Di Tian said. The pupils of the inner sect can also set up such a place to get contribution points? Lu Muyan asked in surprise. Junior sister may not know that the inner sect is different from the outer sect. The top 10 pupils in the inner sect will basically establish their own force, and the new pupils will find a party to join. The sect doesn't oppose such a thing, instead, they are even faintly very supportive of it. Ziche said. In addition to the challenge field, other pupils also have ways to earn contribution points and spiritual stones. For example, pill shops opened by pupils of the alchemy school. If any pupil wants pills, they can go to the pill shop to exchange them, and the contribution points needed are slightly lower than what the sect exchanges them for. Other schools are also as such. Yin Hong added. Lu Muyan rubbed her chin and thought deeply. The reason that the sect allowed the pupils to establish forces was probably also to use their struggles to improve the strength of the pupils, and to let the pupils in the sect experience the rules and bloodshed of the outside world first. So it turns out that there's such a place in the sect. It really opened my eyes. Lu Muyan said with a smile. Thank you, 3 senior brothers, for letting me know. These things aren't any secret. Junior sister can find out as long as you go out and ask more. Ziche waved his hand and said, Then I won't disturb the 3 of you any longer. I'll go to the sect contribution points management office for a look. Lu Muyan got up and bid farewell. Junior sister can come to us if you need anything in the future. Ziche also didn't ask her to stay. All right. After Lu Muyan left, Ziche chuckled. Do you think she went to the sect contribution points management office to exchange things? She should have a lot of grade 4 pills, so she should be going to exchange for contribution points.